Eh bien, bonsoir à toutes et à tous, bienvenue pour cette soirée en live sur Not for Broadcast. On va se faire une deuxième run sur le deuxième épisode de ce jeu. On a fait une première run vendredi dernier, il me semble, il y a une semaine. Donc voilà, aujourd'hui on va se faire les autres choix. On va être une game full disrupt cette fois, alors que la dernière fois on était full advance. Salut RP, bienvenue à toi, comment vas-tu ? Comme vous pouvez le voir derrière moi, il y a deux petites nouveautés. On va commencer par celle-là. J'ai un display ici et j'en ai un autre là. Donc ici on a Elite Dangerous et derrière on a Sephiroth. On les voit un petit peu moins bien que ce que j'espérais. Donc il faudra sans doute que je mette des éclairages dessus pour qu'ils ressortent un petit peu plus. Mais bon, ça viendra avec le temps au fur et à mesure où on améliorera le décor. Mais il faut d'abord que je finisse d'équiper tout ce dont j'ai besoin avant. Mais voilà. Ça va bien, impeccable, fatigué de cette semaine de boulot, mais voilà, je suis rentré, donc ça va aller maintenant. Et puis bon, on va s'amuser ce soir sur un live qui va être sans doute plus court que la semaine dernière, vu qu'on a déjà fait une fois l'épisode, donc on va avoir moins de choses à revoir. Mais bon, on va pouvoir comparer avec les choix qu'on a pu faire précédemment. Allez, on va passer sur le jeu, on va recharger la run concernée. Hop, et on va prendre du coup les choix 2. Allez, c'est parti. Mais voilà, donc du coup ça y est, t'as tout rattrapé RP, je suppose. T'as rattrapé tout le retard sur notre broadcast. Avant qu'on attaque ça. Ouais, tranquillement, même ça.
Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to turn into despair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die.
Un peu déçu de ne pas avoir pu réagir sur le moment. Ah, ça c'est possible, bah du coup tu vas pouvoir faire ça ce soir avec cette run. Je dis pas bonsoir Jean-Pierre Direct. Bonsoir Lorex quand même, bah merci d'être passé, c'est pas un problème. Merci de venir dire bonjour, comment vas-tu? Allez, on va attaquer du coup jour 154, un dur réveil. Un bip régulier du moniteur cardiaque vous ramène doucement à la réalité. Bah j'arrive et tu mets Mr. Bear. Bah voilà, c'est pourtant il n'y a pas la commande de Lorex, hein. Il n'y a même pas encore la commande Steamy pour ça, mais bon. Mais c'était pour demander surtout à RP s'il avait... Tu restes, c'était pour la blague. D'accord, pas de problème. Bah, bienvenue à toi. Je demandais surtout à RP s'il avait tout rattrapé, et notamment la vidéo des 15 minutes avec les 3 versions de Mr. Bear. Allez, donc on est reparti. On va partir du coup sur le choix 2. Les choix 2 qu'on a fait. Donc la run où on n'est pas avec Advance, mais on est avec Disrupt, l'autre. T'as sauté volontairement ces 15 minutes. T'as pas suivi le live précédent, un petit résumé ou pas? Alors, je vais pas te faire un résumé parce que sinon tu vas voir tout l'épisode ce qu'on va faire, mais je pourrais te dire éventuellement ce qui différencie par rapport au choix qu'on a fait sur la première run. Mais ce serait dommage de te spoiler ce qui va se passer. Et à la fin du live où tu les remets. Ah mais ça je peux les remettre une nouvelle fois ce soir, hein, c'est pas un problème. Voilà, alors, pour rappel, on se réveille après, donc à la fin du premier épisode, on s'était pris un coup d'électricité qui nous avait fait tomber dans le coma, ce qui avait généré l'épisode spécial Lockdown, où en fait on n'était pas réveillé, enfin on était dans le coma avec tous les jouets qui sautaient partout, tout ça, le confinement. Beaucoup de choses sont arrivées, c'est mieux de voir ça sans spoil. Voilà, c'est ça. Il y a des choses qui ont changé aussi dans le jeu, notamment la gestion des interférences, qui ont changé un petit peu de système, qui sont un peu plus compliqués, qui sont même beaucoup plus compliqués, je trouve, par rapport à ce qu'il y avait précédemment. C'est la seule chose que je dirais. Pour tout ce qui est histoire, on va découvrir. Allez, c'est parti. Jour 154, un doux réveil. Le bip régulier du moniteur cardiaque vous ramène tout doucement à la réalité. Vous ouvrez les yeux, le flou qui enveloppe votre environnement laisse progressivement place à des visages inquiets. Vos proches sont à vos côtés. Vous ne savez pas où vous êtes, mais vous vous sentez rassuré. Vous clignez les yeux pour en chasser les vestiges du sommeil et prenez progressivement conscience de votre environnement. Lorsque vous levez les yeux, vous remarquez que le visage de Sam trahit une inquiétude entremêlée à la frustration. Ça ne va pas fort entre vous deux depuis quelque temps, et Chris ne fait rien pour arranger les choses. Perché au-dessus de l'épaule de Sam, il ne cache pas son ressentiment à votre égard. Ce soir, c'est avec les choix anti-advance. Ouais, c'est ça. Bien que Sam se fasse du souci, un souci d'encre pour vous, l'air refroidi qui déforme les deux visages ne vous échappe pas. Bon, on va lui dire merci d'être là quand même. Hein. Cependant, cédant à l'inquiétude, Sam prend votre main dans la sienne avant de vous embrasser du front. Bien sûr, mon bébé. Où veux-tu que je sois? Pour la première fois depuis bien longtemps, vous vous souriez sans arrière-pensée. Vous vous tournez alors vers les autres membres de votre famille. À côté de Sam, vous voyez Suzy, manifestement moins inquiète, maintenant que vous avez repris vos esprits et que vous souriez. Vous percevez l'inquiétude de Sam sur le visage de votre fille. Mais celle-ci se renfrogne quand elle remarque que vous la regardez. Je suis contente que tu ailles bien. Elle murmure ses propos, vous montrant à contre-cœur que malgré vos différends, elle tient encore à vous. On va lui dire merci en répondant. Répondez-vous en soufflant, c'est tout. Non. On va lui dire sympa d'avoir fait l'effort en ton joueur. Suzy ne peut pas s'empêcher de vous sourire, levant les yeux au ciel avec un air jovial. C'est fantastique qu'elle soit venue. Charlie vous lance un regard fuyant tout en jouant avec la couverture. Penchez la tête dans sa direction et lui lancez un regard, le sourcil interrogateur. Dès que vous posez les yeux sur Charlie, vous remarquez qu'il se crispe. Son visage trahit une profonde inquiétude. « Alors, ça va aller ?» dit-il finalement, fuyant votre regard. Bien sûr que oui, il n'y a pas de quoi stresser. Charlie vous lance un regard et affiche un sourire radieux qui se répand dans toute la chambre comme un feu de forêt. Mieux vaut la voir dans votre camp. Votre sourire s'estompe lorsque vous remarquez que votre mère regarde par la fenêtre, l'air absent. Malgré tous vos efforts, elle ne va pas très fort depuis quelque temps. Ça va, maman? Votre mère sursaute, vous l'avez manifestement extirpée de sa rêverie. Elle se tourne vers vous en souriant. Vous poussez un soupir de soulagement lorsque vous voyez qu'elle vous reconnaît. Mais bien sûr, et toi, comment vas-tu? Vous souriez chaleureusement et hochez la tête en signe d'approbation. Mais avant qu'elle ne puisse répondre, une femme médecin débarque dans la chambre et fait sortir tout le monde. Elle vous demande pour la 100e fois, au moins, comment vous vous sentez. Très bien, vu les circonstances. Pas de quoi stresser, les bips de la machine me stressent toujours beaucoup. Ouais. Très bien, il n'y a aucun signe de dégâts, c'est juste la vieille machine poussiéreuse qui a été saisonnée. Cela dit, il serait préférable que cela ne se reproduise pas. Après 2 ou 3 jours de repos, vous devriez être frais comme un gardon. Elle tourne les talons pour s'en aller, mais marque un temps d'arrêt. Un temps d'arrêt devant la porte. Oh! Quant à la chambre individuelle et aux soins, d'un geste de la main, la Toubib montre la chambre qui effectivement a l'air de coûter les yeux de la tête. Vous vous rendez compte que maintenant. Tout est pris en charge par un monsieur Bossman. Il vous a laissé ses fleurs et a dit que vous devriez prendre le reste de la semaine. Apparemment, il vous attend lundi prochain. C'est moins qu'on puisse faire. Hop là! Un petit peuple qui a décidé d'aller faire une balade. Ok, vous allez pour ça. C'est bien, il nous laisse la fin de la semaine quand même. Hein. On s'est fait électriser et on a le droit à quelques jours de repos avant d'aller retourner au boulot. Allez, on avance. Jour 180, un lourd fardeau à porter. Vous avez terminé de travailler très tard et lorsque vous rentrez, la lumière de la cuisine est toujours allumée. Ce n'est jamais très bon signe. Généralement à cette heure-là, tout le monde dort à point fermé. Vous ouvrez tout doucement la porte de la cuisine et apercevez Sam. Des factures et des papiers sont éparpillés sur la table ainsi que 2 paquets de biscuits, le premier vide et le deuxième entamé. Sam vous embrasse rapidement lorsque vous vous asseyez à ses côtés. Sam fronce ses sourcils et se replonge dans les factures. Coucou bébé. Encore les chiffres, hein? Ça jette un coup d'œil en direction du KGB, désormais converti en chambre pour votre mère. On fait de notre mieux, mais je pense que Cassandra a vraiment besoin d'une infirmière maintenant. Soudain, vous ne voyez plus que les factures. Heureusement, avec l'argent qu'on a touché et les économies qu'on a réussi à faire, on devrait avoir largement assez pour continuer. Je sais que les choses n'ont pas été faciles et que les soins journaliers coûteront les yeux de la tête, mais c'est ta mère, on n'a pas vraiment le choix. Hein. Bien sûr qu'on paiera pour les soins de notre mère. Hein. Quand même. L'autre solution, vu que je sais ce que c'est, je préfère pas la faire. L'épée de Damoclès rangée dans son fourreau, en tout cas pour le moment. Vous vous emparez des papiers et les rangez le pêle-mêle dans un tiroir. Quel soulagement de ne pas avoir à se soucier de tout cela pour le moment. C'est en tout cas ce que vous dites à Sam. Quelques heures plus tard, vous ne dormez toujours pas. Les yeux rivés sur le plafond, vous êtes plongé dans vos pensées. Combien de temps pourra-t-on se le permettre? Forme actuelle, cap sur les vacances. Fortune aisée. Et on avance. « 232, on va passer du coup au premier journal du coup de ce deuxième épisode. Le premier des 3 journaux qu'on va avoir à animer, à réaliser. Alors, évidemment, pendant le journal, je vais pas trop... ça lag, c'est rien, c'est le chargement. Ça fait ça à chaque fois. Pendant le journal, je vais pas trop parler, hein, je vais essayer d'être assez concentré sur ce qui se passe, puisque c'est pas forcément évident à suivre. On fera des petits points pendant les pauses, pendant les pubs. Allez, jour 232, le silence.
You're fired. What? You're fired.
What for? Facial sabotage?
Jenny? Problem? I want her fired today, now.
Don't worry, Kath, it'll be all right.
No, it won't be all right.
Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on se met comme pub?
Le
Le Billy Ball, allez hop.
You realise you're beginning to sound like
On passe pas à Advance, du coup. On va mettre N'y fera pas dingue, hein.
Jenny, this is
You
your
want
Jenny's
it,
decision.
we got it.
All yours.
It'll be all right. I'll talk to both of you.
Oh, good. You can tell him I'll return his wife's casserole dish at our dinner next week. Jenny?
I'm sorry, Kath, you're gonna have to leave.
Voilà, c'est vachement bien. Donc le troisième magnétoscope est cassé, donc il faudra changer aussi, forcément, pour avoir la
She
dernière
nearly
pub.
blinded
10
me.
seconds,
I thought we were all
everybody!
part of a team these days.
Allez, c'est parti.
You know that. Just stop being so
Sorry, in
high-mighty
5,
and do your job.
You'll
4,
have me fired too.
3.
Don't tempt me. Good evening. I'm Megan Wolfe.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging.
Ouais, on va
Restrictions on
prendre
the supply of oil
la
and
baie
gas, food,
pour
clothing,
commencer.
and
On va
even
dire,
some medicines.
pas content.
But how should we react? We asked the public.
What are your reaction to the sanctions?
I think it's fucking outrageous. My mom needs insulin. Am I supposed to get her transitioned? What's the government doing about it? Eh? What's the government doing about it?
Thanks, Patrick. Fascinating stuff. Thanks, Patrick.
Popular Prime Minister Julia Salisbury has released a reassuringly brave statement in response to the World Council's controversial announcement.
This international declaration is nothing short of outrageous. We are a democratically elected
Ok, il y a les
government
interférences.
with massive popular support.
Donc voilà, donc maintenant il faut suivre la forme.
Sanctions.
Et alors des fois ça va grandir ou diminuer, donc il y a aussi les boutons pour changer la forme de l'onde.
And ignore them. Advance have struck fear into the heart of the international community by showing that it is possible to have radical change for the betterment of the many. And whilst I wish we could improve other countries as much as we have our own, we do not rely on the help of others to thrive. This country is entirely self-sufficient. We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side.
Ok.
Thank you.
Defiant stuff. But what do you, the
On va rester neutre, on va pas mettre que du mauvais parce que j'ai pas envie de me faire virer non plus.
there. Robin Short, National Nightly News. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on the current government.
I'm not really very interested in politics, really. As Mother always said, leave politics to the politicians, Malcolm.
A whole lot of problems. Protests were held
Ça, c'était
today at the
utile.
controversial construction site for Remington's Fist's physics-defying MOOBS project. Since digging straight through the earth began 6 months ago, the project has been beset by problems, including localized tremors and the heat deaths.
Ah, c'est vrai que Remington's Fist, il voulait creuser un tunnel pour passer au milieu.
Today converged on the construction site with sincere, if misspelled, placards, demanding a suspension of digging until safety checks can be carried out.
Of course, that's half a world away. But what does this country think? Patrick.
What's your opinion of the MOOBS project?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What's to stop it, right? Dropping out the other end and just falling forever.
Gravity?
No, it don't exist.
Oh, yeah.
A momentary lapse of reason. Commuters across the capital found themselves somewhat bemused by the latest stunt by controversial protest group Disrupt.
In a baffling start to the
Disrupt,
day,
on va dire
commuters
qui.
found performers outside every major station, all dressed and posed identically. Whether we're supposed to be amused or intimidated is anybody's guess, Jeremy, but most commuters didn't even stop to notice.
Well, as long as it's not some grand contemporary dance, it's probably harmless.
But how do we all feel about Disrupt and their eclectic tactics? Robin found out.
How do you feel about Disrupt?
Ah, well, now you're talking. Ruddy hero, showing us not to take it lying down like Iris here.
So you both feel they're a cause worth supporting?
Well, Iris doesn't speak on mine, but we're pretty sure there's still one in there, aren't we, love? Wherever it is, it loves Disrupt, fighting the oiks for our freedom. And what could possibly be wrong with that?
Do you need me to get you some help?
Injury time? Fierce rival doctors David Wong and Ingrid Svorsborg and Horgensford today sent a joint statement to the service appealing for an urgent shipment of supplies.
After breaking into two warring factions, things seem to have gone from
Eux, on va
bad
leur
to
mettre
worse.
content
They
aussi,
did
on s'en fiche.
everything.
C'est
They look like they could really use
c'est pour
some
ceux qui vivent un peu sous terre là.
Or possibly a peace negotiator.
But with the pair arguably being their own worst enemies, how should we feel about sending them the resources they need to carry on? Patrick Bannon found out.
Surely you can't be happy with supporting both sides in a conflict.
Oh, it's all just good fun, isn't it? Anyway, you can't just arm one side, Patrick, you silly fool. We should definitely send them supplies. They're still people after all, even if they are having a bit of a tiff.
I am not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team membership cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as
On n'est pas content, on veut pas
all major organisations, including
pas des cartes d'advance.
banks and, vitally, pubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Team membership cards?
Absolutely bloody not. It's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable Regional Accent here can stick their truncheon up your derriere.
Crikey!
They should call them what they are. They're bloody ID cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy out and on! I'm so sorry. Crikey.
And finally tonight, getting stuck in a shameless attempt to cash in on his bad boy status, shamed celebrity Johnny Hamsleeves announced a new line of real ale at a press conference earlier today.
The new brew, entitled Headbutt Ale in reference to his controversies of last year, promises a night you'll pretend you regret.
Or possibly a night you'll pretend you remember.
So what should we all think of Johnny's latest attempt to market his notoriety? Patrick?
Don't really care, love.
Wise words there.
Later tonight, in a bit of a switcheroo, it'll be Jeremy in the culture chair, spitting rhymes with popular rapper Jay Zuss. And then we'll both be chatting with a familiar team of thespians set to take the nation by storm again.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
Thankfully.
Hop
Some
là.
news as we return to our main story.
The World Council today agreed that punitive and potentially illegal sanctions should be imposed upon this country.
Ah, c'est avec
Sanctions which come
les
into
trois
effect
premiers ministres.
immediately aim to stop the flow of food, fuel, and even some medicines from reaching your pockets.
Tonight we have guests from across the continent to discuss this unprecedented situation. For advance, Peter Clement is at his home in Lamfordshire. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
A momentous day, Prime Minister. Are you shaken?
Oh, I don't scare that easy, I'm afraid, old son. And neither do the people of this country.
Well, joining us is Ivan Vodovich, Foreign Minister of Urkistan. Ivan, thank you for being here.
Great pleasure. You, Megan Wolf, are like strongest guard at labour camp who wake up inside body of crazy, expensive prostitute. In my country, you will be worshipped as a god.
Okay. Minister, as one of those arguing most strongly for these sanctions, how do you feel about Advance's defiant stance?
Vance is like man who think he have big career in movies land, when actually he in dirty sanitarium, screaming at mirror and holding tiny penis in hand.
He's clearly not from Svenland, then. We have like some of the cleanest mental health care facilities in the continent, yeah.
And welcome to Svenland's Minister of Mojo, Björk. I'm sorry, we don't appear to have your surname.
It's just Björk, yeah. We don't use things like socially divisive surnames here, yeah.
Minister?
It's just Björk, yeah.
Right, Björk. Your country spoke in favour of Advance at the World Council today, but you were noticeably absent when it came to the actual vote.
Well, what a surprise. The hippies didn't show up for the fight.
Actually, that's quite racist, because if you must know, we were going to go to the whole, like, boat thing, yeah? But it's actually the Festival of Furelands here at the moment, where we honor the old generations. So, like, we all had to work our grandparents' glinia whilst the boat was happening, and that's like a really, really time-consuming process, actually.
You're like sissy man. You have this expression, sissy man? Is like man with tiny penis who like to wash more than once a week.
Actually, that's quite homophobic, yeah,
Oh,
because...
stop winding him up, Ivan. We're not back at the Grange now. Sorry, Jeremy. Ivan and I used to play golf back in my media days.
Yeah, he always win.
Nothing gives him greater pleasure than grinding people's gears. The more publicly, the better.
Peter, you're like man with tiny penis who think he have tiny penis, but actually he discovered that. Oh, could it be? No, it's tiny penis.
Ivan's just worried that when the rest of the world sees how well we're doing, they'll notice all that dosh that he's got squirreled away. Because that's what these sanctions are, Megan. They're the last pathetic gasp of an establishment in collapse. Wolves at the gates, Ivan, old mate.
Good. You can join others on my wall.
Actually, in Svenland, we have like serious animal welfare legislation. And like my friend Helge, she got arrested, yeah, for killing a butterfly that was hovering over her fuel thing. I mean, in English, jam sandwich.
I used to know a girl called Jam Sandwich. She was a right cracker too. I wonder what became of her.
We seem to be wandering a little from the news here.
That's human interest, Jeremy. The real people behind the headlines and all that. So if you're watching, Jan, give us a call.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see if we can't organise a reunion.
Crash, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to run it past Mrs. Clement first, eh?
Peter, you're like man trying to empty ashes of mistresses into oncoming vent. Soon you have tiny penis and beard full of secrets.
In Svenland, we don't really go in for all that restricted monogamy stuff here. We're kind of Florida.
Okay, well, it seems that we are running out of time.
Yes, so before we go to the break, briefly, if you would, gentlemen, with the people of this country facing shortages and power
Possible shortages and power outages.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Possible shortages and power outages. Can you summarise your thoughts for us, Minister Björk?
Well, from here, yeah, you all look a bit stupid really arguing about outdated divisive concepts like money. In Svenland, we replaced currency with a system of bodily fluids back in the 1970s, and that's like really hard to sanction, actually.
Thank you, Minister Vodovich.
Your country is like man who think he invented perfect trap for giant Newton hairy bear. But really, he just standing in field
Holding his tiny penis, yes. Thank you, Minister. And finally, Prime Minister Clement.
Let me talk to your viewers here, Jeremy. Don't worry, everybody. Don't be afraid. Don't even lose a wink of sleep. We knew the rest of the world would react this way, and we're ready. As my old man used to say, you can't make a shite pie without blocking a few toilets.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Reassuring words there.
We'll be back.
after these messages.
1 minute back.
Ok, première pub.
Hey, Peter, I over your way this weekend. You fancy a quick 9?
Yeah, sure, front or back.
That's what I hope you're asking Megan Wolf for me.
She's out of your league, mate.
Thank you for the correction.
Well, you have to be more careful.
It's all part of his long-term plan to get fired live on the news at 6 in front of the nation.
Can someone warn him it's going a little too well?
This is important. New government censorship should show up in blue.
Ouais, il chauffe au téléphone.
Same as regular censoring. Keep an eye out for the advanced blue waveform.
On va pas la faire la... Ah, plus, cool. On va pas l'utiliser la censure d'Advance, évidemment. On est avec Disrupt, donc on va rester comme ça.
Are you still meant to bow to foreign royalty?
What?
That's like
Hang on. Have they given you the Crown Prince report?
What?
Meghan?
This is Jeremy, and he'll be interviewing you.
Yo, thanks for having me on your show, man.
It's quite alright.
Yo, just a quick one. You're not going to ask me about the chimp, are you?
Live in 10 seconds.
Because he put that get up on himself. I'm just saying.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Allez, c'est reparti.
Welcome back, I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honour and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus!
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honour to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand you.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died, died tragically. Right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah, nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah, I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheese Slice.
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
Or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh no, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah. You love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still two leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes, I don't need your freaky team. And I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams. So don't make a fuss when you find you're one of us. Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive. But why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention. I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise of the press of the wave. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. It's time to storm the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. So this is for the snub ones, the push and the shove ones, the folks that feel the burden of their motherfucking loved ones. Ones who had plenty like a motherfucking Bentley. The ones who now finding out their bank accounts are empty. The ones of aspiration, who had to flee a nation. The ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise serve the press of the ways. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for.
J'ai raté une censure.
Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets. Set a fire in the building, let them feel some fucking heat. Say you hate to go getters, you're squilling bed letters and burn them on the powers of advanced fucking letters. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to storm the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team. And advances little dances aren't as harmless as it seems. Cause they're stale and corrupt, then you're angry or wrong. Then your hearts and your minds and your fists to destruct.
Ok. Alors ce que ça change, parce que là on n'a pas du tout censuré sur
Jesus there with
ce qui
his
était
new song.
Advance.
Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ads.
Jenny, this is fucking outrageous!
Thank you so much. If you could just come with me.
No, this is ridiculous. Who do I complain to?
Un nouveau shampoing, allez hop.
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask
Oh,
you
trust me. My father's going to hear about this.
I understand. This is unbelievable, Megan.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Looks like garden furniture. Come on down for a crazy. Just a reminder. Fixing that old VCR.
Ouais, c'est pour ça que j'ai changé la pub. Voilà, j'ai changé la dernière pub pour qu'on puisse avoir remettre là. You want it, we got it. J'adore les pubs Présidil.
Look at him.
If we could just get you in position.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
T'as mis de fingernail Harris?
You remember Mr. Algebra?
Vividly.
Monsieur
Mr.
Algèbre.
Harris, and this is Ms. Raiden.
What?
Philippa, please.
We're back together again, eh? Who'd have thought it?
Perhaps a lower-order demon.
Yes, it is awfully exciting, isn't it?
Right, okay then. We're going live in 10 seconds, opening on camera 1.
Right.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Raiden, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this.
Quelque chose de bizarre, je cache quelque chose avant qu'il ne se pas mentir par l'autre. Ah, peut-être.
And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris. Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells! Back to the hells!
Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show, then? Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap
J'aime bien
opera
qu'ici il
or,
apparaît là.
God forbid, a pantomime. But you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show.
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable. He was our rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
Yep. We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
Le bidule ball.
You'll never take the sacred pass!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, was actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale.
Which frankly would have been a travesty.
Ouais, ils ont quand même un gros final.
Goodness, you do this every night.
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Et bonsoir Gauthier, bienvenue à toi, comment vas-tu?
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
Ok, fin du premier journal.
Hey, we must stop bumping into each other like this, eh?
Oh.
Allez, note de A pour ce segment. Oh, ça a l'air dégueulasse comme pub, ça. Je l'avais pas vu. Allez, A+, séquence B, séquence 2 en B et la séquence 3 en A. On a une note de A. Très bien. Vous avez reçu un petit bonus. Les choses s'améliorent. Très bien.
La blague est valide.
Alors, ça descend pour Advance, ça monte pour Disrupt. Et Channel One, a priori, on nous aime pas trop. C'est assez dans le monde. Ok. Allez, on continue. On ira voir tous les rushs et tout ça à la fin. Pour éviter que ça plante comme ça a fait lors du premier live. Et que je suis obligé de rejouer des segments. Et en avance, on va avoir un petit peu de texte, hein, comme entre chaque journal, avec des choix à faire. Attends, je regarde juste un tout petit truc. Tac, tac. D'accord, excusez-moi, j'ai reçu un message, je regardais juste. Alors, jour 242, une échelle à laquelle il faut grimper. C'est un dimanche après-midi en plein été. Savez-vous profiter au maximum de l'absence des enfants? Vous allez dans le KGB consacrant un moment à vous rappeler l'époque où cette pièce était la chambre de votre mère, afin d'en sortir avec les derniers parts du gâteau fait maison. C'est rare que Sam et vous puissiez déguster entièrement et goûter à sa juste valeur chaque friandise sucrée. Au moment où vous prenez la dernière bouchée, vous entendez la porte qui claque. Ça doit être Charlie qui revient de chez les fonceurs. Vous l'entendez presque courir jusqu'à vous lorsqu'il apparaît, son visage affiche un sourire radieux. J'ai une grande nouvelle à vous annoncer. Savez-vous jouer les jeux, attendant fièrement la suite. Fiévreusement la suite, pardon. Prêt ? Demande Charlie. Vous acquiescez tous les deux de la tête avec enthousiasme. Il sort alors de sa poche un nouvel insigne qu'il brandit avec une fierté non dissimulée tout en annonçant « À partir d'aujourd'hui, je suis membre du premier palier des cadets de la cohésion. J'aurai beaucoup plus de responsabilités et je travaillerai aussi les week-ends. » Mais c'est génial! Ça fait si Charlie, mais vous ne pouvez pas vous empêcher de froncer les sourcils. Ça semble être un peu trop grand pas en avant pour les ados. C'est un CCO, c'est ça? Ça risque d'être un CCO, en effet. Un enfant qui a grandi. Lors de chaque événement important, vous dînez toujours en famille. Et ce soir ne fait pas exception à la règle. Vous avez même invité Chris en guise de rameau d'olivier. Enfin, c'est plutôt Sab qui l'a invité, pour cette raison en parlant. Ce sera la dernière fois que vous serez tous ensemble, avant plusieurs longs mois. Pour le moment, vous avez réussi à ne pas vous disputer avec Chris, ni avec Suzy, au sujet épineux de la politique. Et Sam et vous en êtes probablement très reconnaissante. Ça, vous en êtes très probablement reconnaissante. Entre ces deux examens de votre travail, vous n'avez pas eu l'occasion de beaucoup voir Suzy ces derniers temps. Bien sûr, le fait que Chris soit là fait plaisir à Sam, mais vous ne savez pas ce qui est pire. Leur présence ou la chaise vise à la table, là où votre mère devrait être assise avec sa synchro-sainte sempiternelle tasse à thé. Mais attendez, elle est passée où la mère du coup? Il me semblait que j'avais continué de payer, non? J'ai fait une erreur tout à l'heure? Si RP, tu as la réponse? Il me semblait qu'on l'avait gardé avec nous. J'ai pas compris, tu avais choisi les soins. C'est parce qu'il me semblait que j'avais choisi les soins. À moins qu'elle soit peut-être décédée de cause naturelle. Je sais pas encore, on verra. Alors Alex, je crois que tu as quelque chose à dire? Demande Sam d'un air résolu, faisant signe de la tête en direction de Suzy. Votre fille relève un sourcil, le visage interrogateur. Vous ne pouvez pas vous empêcher d'y voir un peu de vous-même. Ah oui, bien sûr. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Demande Suzy en riant. Elle prend un verre de vin pétillant aux arrière-goûts de champagne. Sam a clairement expliqué qu'aujourd'hui était une journée importante et que vous devriez tous fêter son succès en bonne et due forme. Donc, notre petite Suzy... Allez, accouche Alex, on attend! Chris rigole, trinquant avec Suzy. Chris semble d'humeur joviale, même si cette intervention ne vous facilite pas la vie comme d'habitude. Arrêtez la nuit là. On va la féliciter quand même. Je vais pas me fâcher avec Chris, ça sert à rien. Je voulais te dire que nous sommes fiers de toi, Suze. Nous te félicitons d'avoir été admise à la fac de médecine. Oh! Doctus explique de Suzy se métamorphose en grand sourire. Elle se lève, elle tourne la table et vous prend dans ses bras. Vous allez me manquer. Quand Sam rejoint votre étreinte, vous remarquez que ses yeux brillent. On va te manquer? Tu t'en vas? C'est une bonne question. Suzy rit gaiement en libérant son étreinte. Non, vous n'allez pas vous débarrasser de moi tout de suite. Mais je devrais sûrement m'en aller lorsque j'aurai ma première affectation. Ah, tais-toi, veux-tu? Ne parlons pas de ça, interrompt Sam, le sourire aux lèvres. Le reste de la soirée est un tourbillon de bonheur, et même Chris a su se tenir. Personne n'a jamais été aussi fier que vous. Ok, on va en fac de médecine. Insigne avant-coureur. Avant les sanctions, faire ses courses n'était pas une partie de plaisir, mais maintenant c'est une véritable corvée. Vous réussissez à trouver tout ce qu'il vous faut pour ce soir, mais vous devrez revenir demain afin de faire des provisions pour la semaine. Il y a la queue jusqu'au parking, mais dans l'obscurité, vous n'arrivez pas à savoir pourquoi. Avec un peu de chance, les choses reprendront leur cours rapidement. Alors que la dernière voiture devant vous démarre, vous réalisez qu'il y a des contrôles d'identité à la sortie. Un homme en uniforme d'Advance et bardé des blasons exhibant les lettres OCC approche de votre voiture, l'air avenant. Il tape à la fenêtre du conducteur, vous la baissez. Bonsoir, gendarmerie nationale, papier du véhicule s'il vous plaît. Montrez votre carte de membre de l'équipe s'il vous plaît. L'adhésion à l'équipe n'est-elle pas censée être sur la base du volontariat? Excusez-moi mais je ne l'ai pas, j'en ai pas. Ah, c'est pas un problème. Et ça tombe bien puisque nous avons des formulaires à portée de main. Nous vous ferons un plaisir de vous inscrire. Tu vas pas nous la refaire? Bah si, j'aime bien, elle me fait marrer cette blague donc je la refais. D'un geste rapide, l'homme appelle sa collègue derrière lui, une jeune femme portant un uniforme identique. On lui a signé le sale boulot puisqu'elle doit s'occuper de la paperasserie. Je pensais que ces cartes n'étaient pas obligatoires. Strictement parler, elles ne sont pas obligatoires, mais certains cas offrent de nombreux avantages. Il n'y a aucun inconvénient à en avoir une. C'est trop beau pour être vrai. Son sourire s'estompe largement lorsqu'il se gratte l'arrière du cou pendant quelques instants. Il se penche vers vous, sa présence semble désormais un peu intimidante. Pas faux. Non merci, ce n'est pas quelque chose que je veux pour le moment. Presque instantanément, le comportement amical disparaît et le visage de l'homme se renforgne, affichant une expression en désapprobation non dissimulée. Eh bien, je ne peux manifestement pas vous obliger à vous inscrire, mais je vous recommande vivement de le faire, et le plus vite possible. Il serait dommage que les gens pensent que vous ayez quelque chose à cacher, non? Il fait un pas en arrière et d'un geste sec vous ordonne de partir. Lorsque vous jetez un œil dans le rétroviseur, vous avez la quasi-certitude de devoir écrire quelque chose. Vous rentrez chez vous, un brin plus vite que d'habitude. Il manifeste qu'Advance met tout en œuvre pour que chaque personne intègre l'équipe. Il a écrit ta plaque. Ouais, je pense que c'est ça aussi. Jusqu'à là, je suis d'accord. Une invitation à ignorer. Ah, c'est celle du boulot, ça. C'est samedi. L'un de vos rares jours de congé et vous en avez profité au maximum. Mais alors que l'après-midi touche à sa fin, l'invitation accrochée au frigo vous fixe d'un air accusateur. Le gala de Canal One est une manifestation professionnelle obligatoire, avait dit Bossman d'un air péremptoire, auquel il avait ajouté « Et ne sois pas en retard ». Vous voyez. Vous avez déjà manqué votre anniversaire cette année, vous n'abandonnerez pas un autre samedi. Bossman ne sera pas heureux, mais de toute façon, Bossman ne serait pas heureux... même s'il était sacré roi le jour où il gagnait la loterie. Mais ce n'est pas votre problème. Pas pour le moment en tout cas. Vous avez le droit à des jours de congé et vous allez en profiter. Les conséquences, vous verrez ça lundi matin. « 296, journal suivant. » Ok, donc là on fait des choix quand même complètement différents de la première run. Et là on va faire un gros choix différent de la première run. Bref. Des choix qui craignent. Ouais, là en fait, c'est... Bon, on va pas spoiler, hein, mais... Il va y avoir des changements. Allez, c'est parti. Deuxième journal, la vague de chaud. Ah, c'est vrai. Il y a ça. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on va se mettre? N'y fera pas dingue. N'y fera pas dingue. Un camp festif familial tout confort à la campagne. Très bien. Et nouveau système de loisirs interactif impressionnant de Remington Schwitz.
Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
So we've got any actual real news tonight?
Well, the world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team headquarters,
Là, je sais pas quelle est la différence entre les deux, donc.
Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
Ever since these illegal sanctions were imposed, we have gratefully relied upon trade and aid from our worldwide friends who, like us, refuse to recognize their legitimacy. Today's escalation, however, is nothing short of an act of war.
On parle quand même d'act of
We
war.
call
Hein.
upon our international allies to condemn this blockade absolutely, and we warn aggressors to this country that we are neither meek nor defenseless. Thank you.
Voilà, donc on n'est pas faible
Beer in the
ni sans
headlights.
défense.
Burgeoning brewmeister Johnny Hamsleeves has today launched a new marketing campaign to revitalise the image of his unpopular Headbutt Ale. Adamant that his craft brew could
La
be
fusée.
a commercial success,
J'avais pas
if
vu ça,
only he could
donc,
get in front of the right audience, Johnny's gone to surprising lengths in his latest PR stunt. In a move he's calling groundbreaking and his accountants are calling irresponsible, Johnny has launched 1,000 bottles of beer into the stratosphere, where they've now settled into geostationary orbit.
D'accord.
He's hailing it as a landmark achievement, while scientists are condemning his cosmic fly tipping. In it to win it, exciting news from Advance today, with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique
Je viens de
prizes
capter, ça
worth
ressemble
more than
à
money
du
used
Trump
to
parfois,
be.
non?
Take up on the scheme has been much
Ouais.
higher than
Là, c'est
expected.
plus
And if this
extrême.
lucky
Oula, ça
winners
chauffe.
to light in face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Glory Hall? Due to the overwhelming public disapproval of their controversial move,
Il a dit Glory Hall, là, non?
Remington's Fist announced that excavations are to be discontinued and the unfinished tunnel repurposed. Speaking from her divorce lawyer's parking lot, pitiful
Le parc d'attraction.
CEO Sophia Remington admitted the attempt to dig through the earth was short-sighted and ambitious, and unveiled the future of the abandoned hole. Sophia hailed the planned underground amusement park as a visionary design. According to a spokesman, it's just like a regular theme park, but damper and more susceptible to cables. Well endowed, supplies sent down to the struggling scientists of Dante's Taint arrived today to much jubilation and a few tears. With public opinion still behind the stranded squad, the support team on the surface declared that no expense was spared in furnishing the academics with these vital supplies. There's nothing a flood can't fix, so in the challenging environment of Dante's Taint, it seemed only natural to send them a box full of solutions. The doctors were said to be pleased, but did mention something about being a bit peckish. Road to nowhere? A large turnout was reported last night for an illegal and unsanctioned demonstration by radical pressure group Disrupt. Although overzealous policing by some community cohesion officers led to isolated scuffles after the event, the activists managed to make an impressive visual display in the heart of Parliament Park. As well as burning itself into the minds of all those who see the image, the Disrupt symbol is also scorched into the turf in what can only be described as an impressive exercise in branding. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship, and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Ok. Interférence. Et ça marque des formes de points disrupt. Ah, t'avais pas. Ok. J'avais. Je pensais que t'avais eu.
But first tonight, our team of correspondents
Ah,
has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with Dr. Anna Burns at the University of Princeton. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am?
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating.
And You're part of a team carrying out a study into just what's causing these unbelievable heats, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Remington Spitz. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future. May I just say,
Je me demandais si c'était un chrono ou si ça coupait.
Oh, here we go.
Mais a priori, c'est pas un chrono, ça coupe à certains moments exprès.
As expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on. This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is fine, so...
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah? We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Here it just says, shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go, much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running out.
It's running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
There you are. Enjoy that. I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will reclaim us all.
There you have it, Jeremy. Proof, if proof be need be, that everything is just fine. I'm Megan Wolfe, here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolfe there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Ouais, ça descend. Ouais, je sais. Ouais, je sais que j'ai fait une interférence là.
Wow, that sounds so convenient. But we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with Julius Salisbury at one of the capital's top restaurants.
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
Ouais, tu l'avais pas le. Alors, le nom, je l'avais pas, je suppose que c'était pour Disrupt.
Over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both polishing turds?
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh. How unexpected.
I don't polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato, potato. So, Gary...
Do you think Mr. Clement's going to let me keep the contents of his downpipe?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear
Je comprends encore des trucs. Bah, après, j'avoue qu'aussi, j'ai fait plusieurs runs, donc... Ah, je suis pas prêt.
Are you alright?
Yes, it's coming. It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Mais t'es 5 fois comme ça, t'auras tout.
Today on the show there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Yeah, this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous, really lovely.
Mais après, je suis sûr d'en rater encore. Hein, là, Mais c'est vrai que le premier épisode, en fait, je l'ai fait 4 fois, je crois. 3 fois en live et une fois de mon côté en plus. Donc c'est vrai que j'ai eu le temps de voir des choses en fait.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which has recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else. Barry Lardons, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son? Being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. But who's laughing now, eh?
So what, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built flour factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Stink not affect your life in every way, Barry. I mean,
Hop, ça gère pour l'instant.
Return or completing the physical act of love.
It's strong at first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's the sickness?
Dès qu'on a un petit peu d'interférence, aussitôt l'audience déteste. Hein.
Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main. But
J'adore cette tête à Patrick.
Probably a few valves on the high street.
On the high street. Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, this stinking old tramp?
Next recording is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
That's not really a problem, I've sung in my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon. He's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous, why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch me if you want.
That'll be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon, feel the Bannon. Oh man, what's the point?
And the ennui. All that's left now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nana Dottie? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't need opinions.
Don't worry, folks. Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right, that's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
Ok. Pour l'instant, ça se gère.
Even for you.
I don't care. It's done. I am done. It's 200 fucking degrees in here, and I can't do this anymore.
I say this every Friday.
Give me the Ringo, guys.
What do you mean?
The prices are mental.
Jeremy?
If you're boiling hot and you're thinking, I need to get cool, I need to get down to Neil's because we've got the aircon on. We're serving up ice creams to all the customers, but our prices are dropping.
The next guest has some unsuitable opinions for the evening news. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for subversive talk. It would be nice if you could try not to undermine the station tonight. People are starting to notice, you know.
Ah, bah genre... Les gens commencent à me remarquer. Ah, tiens.
Even the weather's more fucking relevant than this. Jeremy, please, just breathe. It's just something light to keep people's minds off things.
Exactly.
Attends,
Which
tu
is
nous en parles.
what people's minds should be very much on things. Christ, it's so fucking hot.
Please take your seats as quickly as you can.
On va prendre un peu d'avance. Hein.
I've had enough. That's it. This is just
10 seconds. Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5, 4, 3.
You want it, we got it.
Welcome back to the National Night in News.
Pardon, fallait commencer sur la 2, j'ai pas fait gaffe.
Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. So I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that?
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard.
Don't forget about that pesky power button on the fan.
The phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me, and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success
Ça va un petit peu vite là.
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt?
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No, I
Oh, wow, we may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin, a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once. Enough! That's enough! Enough!
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex,
don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to.
De toute façon, je peux
You're in
pas.
the broadcast centre. Bozeman's little scapegoat. You listen to me. You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio. I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
L'heure de vérité, c'est ça.
Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat football? We are on the brink of a siege, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the gates, and I'm stuck here talking to these 3 fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
You three, get the fuck out of my studio. Go on, now, go! Before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Right. You in the broadcast centre. Alex, you listen to me. You pay attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines. And when I say so, and not before, you play it. You've got about 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now, all cameras.
Alex, I know I've doubted your competence, but surely even you know better than to play that tape. We don't take orders from armed lunatics. Play a normal advert, or there will be consequences.
Over now, we're going to show the other side for it. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape. I don't want to hurt any of you. If I see anything I don't like, I will not.
Oh, Alex, you're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope you made the right call.
Reset the system for the third segment.
I've seen our symbols.
I imagine the ratings are going to be through the roof.
You've heard them talk about us on the news. We are disrupt.
Oui, il y en a plus,
We are
hein.
the resistance. It's time you knew the truth. You know advance are lying to you. You know the elderly are not a burden. You know the rich were not all evil. And you know the team membership card is an ID card, no matter what they try to tell you. But why should you trust us? Another faceless organization. A shadowy figure with a distorted voice. You've seen it so many times in the movies. Well, this is not a movie.
Alan James.
My name is Alan James. I used to try and shock people for a living, for entertainment. But now we live in a time where perhaps you need to be shocked. Perhaps we need to wake up. Advance are coming for our freedoms. They are coming for the fruits of our labours. They will take our wealth. They will euthanize our parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns.
How
We
long?
don't have to accept it.
Jeremy, please.
A great
How
many people already
long?
won't.
17
You can
seconds.
resist.
And the
You
studio
can
doors are all
disrupt.
still locked?
Find us.
Yes.
Talk with us. Join us.
So what now?
It isn't hard.
I don't know.
We're everywhere.
This wasn't what I planned. I mean, some of it was. I had speech, look. But this was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long? How long, Jenny?
You're already live.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News.
Ah, ça, j'ai pas vu ce segment-là, du coup.
Joining me, unexpectedly, for what I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is, what's your name?
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. it's not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
I don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
That's perfectly understandable. You'd want to do this. Jenny, why did you join the National Nightly News team?
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this program? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was.
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
There's a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
What do you mean?
I saw your face when that thing came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
It's like I said, you didn't know.
No. I didn't know. The people I met were with... He wasn't there. I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry. But seriously. Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for... God, I love you, Jeremy, but...
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
That right?
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into oppression, and the news isn't saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Says who? Alan fucking James.
What are all those scientists working on at Grantham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying...
Voilà, mais ils veulent censurer tellement en fait.
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these? Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you. You read these cards with my notes on it, and you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help,
Yes,
Andy?
yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch that.
Of course. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy.
Il a mangé. On regardera ça après, mais.
You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there. When you're done. All cameras on me. This new regime of ours is so seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone ask Advance how they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of, whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves. Anyway, that's why I arranged for you to see that broadcast from the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ, it's all so fucking pointless. I was going to quit tonight. Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never tried. I loved them. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry. I've lost this fight.
Alex, think of the consequences.
I've let you down. Please, we can't show this. Cut to the ads.
My name's Jane
Now!
Dawes.
Do it now!
If you
Je vais aller
can,
jusqu'au bout, hein.
somehow. And I envy you. Have a peaceful night.
Jeremy!
Oh, purée. Il la montrait vraiment. Je savais pas trop s'ils allaient jusqu'à la montrer réellement. Ouch. J'ai eu E sur la séquence. Ah, j'ai pas été très bon. Je vais regarder la pub. Box. On ira regarder les pubs après. Mais j'ai envie de voir un peu la nouvelle pub Remington Schwitz. Ok. T'es sûr qu'il allait quand même y passer? Ouais, j'en étais sûr aussi, c'est pas... Mais je pensais pas qu'il allait se suicider, on va dire. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Pourquoi j'ai plein de messages là comme ça d'un coup? Bon, j'aurai plus tard. Alors, ce deuxième broadcast, on a eu A, A+, et E. A priori, les gens n'ont pas aimé voir le suicide en direct. Hein. Ça a pas plu, ça, on va dire. Fortune actuelle, cap sur les vacances. C'est plus assez, je sais. D'accord. Alors, ok, c'est bizarre parce que quand je supporte Advance dans ces choses, je gagne pas d'argent. Ou alors c'est en fonction des choses que j'ai choisies. Peut-être. Ah, c'est... Ouais, peut-être, je sais pas. Il te paye quand même. En fait, je pense que c'est plus... j'ai l'impression que c'est plus en fonction des parts que j'ai pris dans les différentes entreprises. Tu sais, dans l'épisode 1, on nous demande à un moment de choisir des trucs et j'ai choisi un peu au hasard parce que ça n'avait pas de conséquences au début. Et je pense que c'est ça qui nous amène de l'argent et pas en fonction de ce qu'on a fait. Voilà. En tout cas, j'ai l'impression que c'est ça. Donc, j'ai dû prendre Crazy Deal avec Crazy Neil, peut-être. Je pense que ça doit être eux. Et vu que je la mets à chaque fois parce que j'adore ces pubs-là, et ben voilà. Et puis, on Remington Schwitz, voilà. Et voilà. You want it, we got it. Alors, Advance nous aime pas, ça c'est pas étonnant. Disrupt nous aime bien, et Channel 1 par contre les gens n'aiment plus trop pour le moment. Ok, cool. Cool tout ça. Allez, on va prendre 5 petites minutes de pause, je vais me chercher un truc à boire parce que j'ai plus rien. Et puis après ça, on va faire le dernier journal avec les conséquences de ce qui vient de se passer. Et après on regardera un petit peu les rushs qu'on n'a pas encore vus, ainsi que les publicités. À tout de suite pour la suite de notre broadcast. Allez, de retour pour la suite de notre podcast épisode 2, la deuxième run, la run Disrupt. On est parti du coup, on va continuer, on va avoir du texte à lire pour l'instant pour la suite avant d'attaquer le troisième journal. Ouah, tout pile, bah oui, j'étais prêt, j'étais à l'heure. J'ai une, ah oui, du coup il est là, une bière à la vôtre, une 50 de Noël. Et c'est parti. Non, toi tu viens d'arriver. Bah nickel, également. Allez, on avance. La cassette à ne pas oublier, jour 297. Vous vous réveillez toujours plus ou moins sous le choc des événements dont vous avez été témoin lors du JT. Des événements dont vous avez été témoin lors du montage des informations de la nuit dernière. Lorsque vous descendez, vous retrouvez tous les membres de votre famille dans le salon. Ils vous attendent. Vous vous asseyez sur le canapé entre Sam et Suzy. Sam avale sa salive, hésitant avant de commencer. Nous étions très inquiets pour toi hier soir. Après Jeremy avec l'arme, Sam laisse échapper un sanglot. C'était affreux. Pendant le journal, comment as-tu pu faire ça? Et maintenant? Après un silence intolérable, Sam demande « Et toi? Tu vas bien ?» J'arrive pas à croire qu'il soit parti. Sam regarde les enfants, puis vous à nouveau. On a remarqué que tu as choisi de diffuser cette cassette. Sam marque une pause avant de poursuivre. Et je ne peux pas m'empêcher de me demander pourquoi. Ça semblait être la meilleure chose à faire. Quoi? Non, c'est pas une raison suffisante. Perturbation... Disrupt. Ils ont vraiment tout traduit, hein. Disrupt est une organisation de criminels. Je n'arrive pas à croire que tu aies fait ça. L'explosion de la colère de Charlie est pour le moins inattendue. Et dans la salle, personne n'est surpris. Tu crois vraiment que les gens attachent le moindre importance à ce genre de truc? T'es qu'un pauvre con. Sam essaie de calmer le jeu. Charlie, mais il est déjà parti en claquant la porte. Charlie a toujours eu un avis très tranché sur ce genre de choses. Pour ce que ça vaut, Alex, je pense que tu te trouvais dans une situation impossible et que tu as réussi à prendre la bonne décision. Sam vous prend dans ses bras. Il n'y avait que toi coincé dans ce studio et obligé de faire ce choix. Personne ne peut critiquer ta décision et je ressens une grande fierté. Vous n'avez jamais ressenti une telle gratitude à l'idée que Sam vous soutenait. Elle nous soutient dans les deux cas, donc bon. Vous prenez une profonde inspiration et mettez un peu d'ordre dans vos pensées. Il s'est passé beaucoup de choses en très peu de temps. Vous ne savez pas avec certitude si vous avez complètement repris vos esprits après les événements de la nuit dernière. Sans compter l'opinion de Charlie et de Sam sur la question. Vous regardez en direction de votre fille. On n'est jamais d'accord sur rien, mais... Même moi, je pensais pas que tu ferais quelque chose d'aussi crétin. Sylvie balance le journal sur la table à café et Jérémy fixe les yeux de la couverture. Bravo à toi, bien joué. Elle se lève et sort de la pièce tout en applaudissant lentement. Vous pouvez un soupir et sans réfléchir, vous allumez la télé. C'est sympa d'avoir un peu de compagnie. Un vieux western passe à la télé, mais même les péripéties de ces héros ne vous distraient pas autant que vous l'espériez. Vous n'auriez jamais pu faire plaisir à tout le monde. Jour 324, un choix douteux. C'est sympa d'avoir un peu de compagnie. Un vieux western passe à la télé. Mais même avec les péripéties de ces héros, non bah disons, avec un peu de chance, il reste quelques biscuits. Au moment où vous entrez, vous voyez Sam et Suzy qui discutent avec enthousiasme. Votre fille porte toujours son uniforme. Elle est probablement venue directement de son travail. J'ai eu le poste que j'espérais, lance-t-elle. Je vais faire mon stage dans le nouveau centre de transition. Je pourrais venir aider les gens comme mamie. Mais elle est vraiment partie au centre de transition au final. Un centre de transition, pourquoi veux-tu travailler dans un endroit aussi horrible? À fond, hein. Je suis déjà engueulé avec toute ma famille, donc un peu plus, un peu de moins. Hein. Parce que je veux aider les gens qui souffrent. Je ne veux pas que quelqu'un laisse subir les mêmes épreuves que mamie ou nous ont dû traverser. T'as dû replay, je crois. Bah, j'en sais rien. J'en reverrai sur le... J'irai regarder le replay pour voir ce que si j'ai peut-être ripé, hein, c'est possible. En tout cas, je me pose vachement les questions. Suzy et Sam se sourient, mais c'est un sourire empreint de tristesse. Pas étonnant que tu comprennes pas. Aïe. Jour 371. Allez, on passe au journal. Alan James is right. Et salut Hugo, bienvenue à toi. T'as fait un bail, bienvenue, j'espère que tu vas bien. On va attaquer le dernier journal de notre For Broadcast épisode 2. Jour 371, la guerre de vin. Ah, je peux le couper. Cool. Alors, on va activer tout ça quand même. Les pubs, Nil Frappadingue. Ouais, donc c'est bien ça en fait. C'est parce que je mets les pubs de Nil Frappadingue à chaque fois, donc c'est pour ça que j'ai gagné de l'argent avec. Ça va bien, merci. Et vous, comment allez-vous? Bah, moi ça va. Ok. Et on va mettre l'eau de babouin, le nouveau parfum audacieux à l'œil du contemplateur. Amenez vos amis. Ah, c'est vrai qu'il faut mettre les réactions du public. Ça va bien, moi merci, impeccable. J'ai déménagé et du coup, bah là j'attends d'avoir juste une meilleure collection. Tu as choisi un sponsor que tu mets pas en avant. Mais en fait, dans la run 1, j'ai pas fait gaffe. Je pense que j'ai pris au hasard sur le premier. Mais voilà, c'est pas grave. Et puis, je savais pas quelles étaient les conséquences en fait sur la première run.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight. Company of heroes. Skirmishes on land and sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come.
On va prendre la deuxième.
Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise. Don't starve. Advance's food program moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen
Je fais vraiment les deux extrêmes en fait entre les deux journaux. Hein.
However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. With dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain, it can come as no surprise that the transition centres have found themselves stretched to capacity. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a teen membership card, a worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. While applications are still open for those who like to run fashionably late, they can expect a few tricky questions from Advance. Start me up. Disrupt spokesman Alan James held an impromptu rally today in the northern city of Mankipool. Large crowds gathered to hear the band speaker prove Disrupt are still able to capture the public's imagination. A representative from the Mankley-Pool Community Cohesion Team described the event as mostly peaceful. But it looks like Disrupt aren't going quietly into the night. And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical Disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. A passionate and rebellious man, always willing to question authority.
Ah, j'ai fait une erreur. C'est failli que je mette.
Celebrated with a Team Service Award by Advance.
Non, j'ai fait une erreur là.
Outstanding dedication to journalistic truth. But first this evening,
Tant pis.
with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter
Bon,
Clement.
c'est pas pour un show, je pense pas que ce soit
Interview from his
très
home
grave.
in Lancashire. That's coming up
3,
on tonight's
2,
National Nightly News.
1. Et on va prendre les ondes Disrupt aussi sur ce journal, voir un peu ce que ça fait. J'ai pas été bon, hein.
In part 2, I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later we've got a new feature that's sure to keep people
Ah,
back
Lil
for
C.
more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lanfordshire. Good evening, Prime Minister.
Oh, qu'est-ce qui lui arrive?
Have we caught you exercising?
Oh, have we started? Yes,
Oh,
that's
c'est pas
right,
le
Miss
même.
Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old man used to say, just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle? What's wrong? Oh, shit there.
Ok, c'est pas du tout le même sujet que la première.
Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this new year?
Well, you know, Mrs. C and I were watching, you know, the night the blockade began, when Jeremy Donaldson, well, you know,
On regardera après ce que c'est, hein.
and I were a bit wheezy from all the cigars and all that. And Mrs. C turns to me after, you know, after the signal dropped away, and she was in flood of tears, and she says, Peter, she said, I couldn't go on without you, she said. So I made a decision, and since that day, I have stopped smoking cigars. Except for Christmas.
Except for Christmas.
Weddings, state dinners. That's what I say. I got this useless running backwards, doesn't go anywhere. And apparently I'm going on a walking holiday this Christmas, and that should finish me off for bloody good.
Did you make the decision to holiday within the country this winter because of the blockade, Prime Minister?
Well, Mrs. C has never liked travelling at the best of times. These are certainly not the best of times, on that we can all agree. There's a lot of red tape involved in leaving the territory at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware. This fellow is a bastard now. What? All in it together!
Oui, quelqu'un qui gueule derrière.
Also, it doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really an example of team spirit?
What? Did you know about this, Gail?
No one tells me anything, Peter. You should know that.
What did you know?
Well, leaving that for a moment, it says on this card that a body like yours must take some planning to achieve. What's your morning routine?
Well, I have a frigid morning routine.
Rigid. It's rigid for fuck's sake!
Oh, yeah. A rigid and demanding.
J'ai pas besoin de biper en fait, puisque du coup on est sur Advance. Sur Disrupt, pardon.
Ah, some prickle. Is that on your card?
I thought you might wonder. Prime Minister, speaking of planning.
Vivement les rushs. Ah, ouais, ouais. Et je sais pas trop si je peux avoir en fait les rushs aussi
What plans do you have to get us out of this mess?
de Disrupt. Au pire, on regardera le journal.
Well, that's a very blunt question.
Juste pour voir ce qu'ils disent, parce que là, j'avoue que je peux pas sûr ce que dit Alan James.
Prime Minister must have an answer.
Don't you get smart with me, Pat. I was a fucking national treasure before you were a twinkle in the milkman's scrotum. You want to talk about plans? Let me tell you about plans. That's all we do. Fucking plans and revised plans, and then meetings to discuss the implementation of plans and plans and yet more planning for fucking plans and yet more fucking plans.
Well, that's good. That's good to know, Prime Minister.
Il a l'air de bien s'énerver quand même le Premier ministre.
You're a breath of fresh air. But I've been watching you, and you know what? You get more like it every day.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes. Well, I imagine that there
Sorry,
will be
you
the
imagine?
usual. No, what I mean is.
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old mum used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards. What else? A little piece of.
Donc, par contre, j'ai remarqué que Disrupt, ça marche au niveau de l'audience. Hein.
Come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no fucking idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for?
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, that does make sense.
J'ai hâte de revoir ce segment-là.
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C. And many a fine single malt. I want for nothing. Except for a decent night's sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the Culture Spot with Lil C and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that. We'll be back after this.
Eh ben, vivement les rushs. C'est clair que vivement les rushs.
Is what happens when you wander from the car.
I don't think you knew about her statement.
I don't think anyone's supposed to know. When you mentioned it, Bozeman's face turned a colour that I think you call embolism.
Am I in trouble?
Bozeman? Nah, you're like the daughter you never had. I suppose the higher-ups might fire him, though.
Who's Lil C?
Well, if there's any justice,
Who's Lil C?
Are you winding me up?
What? I'm civilized. I read books.
On a eu un A+, du coup, grâce à ça. Les gens aiment Disrupt.
But the prices are lower. We've even had to get crazy creative. And we've got specials on all of the furniture with tinsel. We've got furniture without tinsel. We got Christmas furniture. We got pre-Christmas Christmas furniture. It's a cracker of a deal of crazy deals. Yay! We got crazy Christmas dots.
Il fait marrer, lui.
We got crazy Christmas dots in hats and jumpers. If you're feeling hungry, don't feel down in the mouth. You can have a dog all along. And remember, a dog isn't for life. It's just for Christmas to eat. It's a crazy
Bah là, Bossman, tu gueules, mais c'est de l'audience, c'est ça.
trees on elves. If you want to know where the elf on the shelf is, we've got elves on elves. Bend over and ready for you to take home. We got naughty Christmas nativities with naughty Christmas figurines. We got
I've
crazy
never heard of her
Christmas
before.
nut bums. We've got crazy Christmas big bums. It's the sixth.
Really good?
Crazy Neil used to say to me, bang, bang,
My kids go mad for that.
Christmas without a hit, not the same, but I don't care, cause I'm insane. Come on down to Crazy Neil's for your Christmas needs. Lunch not included.
3.
Allez, c'est
Thanks for
reparti.
coming back. Later, we have an
Avec Lidl
exciting
C.
new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year.
Ah oui, comme j'ai coupé Bossman, bon là ça va parce que je sais ce qu'il faut faire. Mais...
At the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C.
J'en ai 6 ou 7. J'ai pas compris quand tu parlais par contre, RP, désolé.
May I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
What's the regime?
My manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water and then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together, it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
So, this newfound explosion into your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Your manager again?
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh, do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean,
Quand on a vu la danse, on comprend
we're going
pourquoi.
to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Yeah, it's from my album Put It In My 80s.
Allez, disrupte.
It's out tomorrow.
So soon, after the last one.
Oh yeah, I've actually released 2 albums since lunchtime and a clothing line during this interview. See, this is called Cry for Help, and it's going to be in all the best high street and retailer shops. And it's out now! So girlies, you know what to do. Scream and cry until somebody gets it for you.
Ooh, there she goes. Blimey. All these projects, they're keeping you very busy, aren't they?
Ah, j'ai gagné un succès, not my clothes.
And I hate it sometimes, and I hate myself. I just want to like
Pardon.
cry into a bath of root veg. But then I think thousands of girls would do anything to be me, so I must be quite lucky.
Well, you know you don't have to do this, though, don't you?
Yeah, I do think that sometimes. Most nights between like my 4th vodka and the 8th time a stranger slaps me around the arse. I think things could have been different, you know, like better. But I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit in front of the radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I'd press record on my cassette. But then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practicing again.
Sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler proud and you might just survive childbirth."
Well, you know what, despite anything, you'll make me proud.
Oh, if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you? Tell me about it,
So it's called These Babies Gonna Bring You Home, and I actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what, it's actually all right. And don't worry, all my work is team approved.
All right then, well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here is Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track, These Babies Gonna Bring You Home. Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Force's favorite, the Queen of Teams, here to break in your blockades, Lil C.
Oh baby, can't you see I'm hungry? There's a place in me that's empty. I want that meet you back in and only you can fill that crack in me. I'm under siege, so come and free me. Ain't no disruption here, boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me, no dirty foreign member. Don't stop your morning drill, there's holes in me that ain't been filled yet. I only scream this loud when you do your country proud. I ain't no vicar's daughter, common skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pour me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So let them try and break our dream. We fight a love and die a team. So what a Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy. I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since Mom unburdened me. She was only 53 but gave to save her family. There's no one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pour me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So what a Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and dump
Pareil,
them
Britney,
there.
sa
I
première
wanna
phrase,
see
c'est la même
some
chose qu'une
action.
chanson.
So come and break
Attends, je vais
my
le lire après.
sanctions.
Ah, ça y est, il a commencé à se déshabiller.
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to thank Little C for doing that. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're going to love. We'll be back right after this.
And we're out.
Alors, là, tu parlais de Britney, sa première phrase là, c'est la même qu'une de ses chansons à elle. Ah, peut-être, j'ai pas. Possible. C'est quoi cette pub là encore? Ah, c'est le nouveau parfum là ou je sais pas quoi là. Ah, et l'autre babouin.
Well, don't worry about it. And you know what? Good luck for the future. Take care of yourself. This industry can be crazy sometimes. Watch out for that father of yours.
Oh, no. I manage myself. It's just, for the public to have that certain perspective.
Oh.
Ah, c'est dégueulasse encore ça.
Michael?
What about the Bob Jean short?
Oh, my dad. He's such a sweetheart. We both had the same agents, it just made sense. Both of us for our image together. And Michael, I want to see the revenue share for the clothing line and get me a G&T before my meeting with the lube guys. If they say for your pleasure, I'm going to stop needing it.
La note de E, sans déconner. Ah, c'est vrai que j'ai pas été très bon sur la musique, mais quand même. Eau de babouin.
Well, the fact is, Jen, there's enough flowers in my dressing room.
Ah, c'est vrai qu'on a The Bridge qui a step up un petit peu quoi.
Like the sort of person who counts things. No, not anymore. I'm better than that now. I'll tell you what. Just keep adding flowers until it feels like 12. Got it?
Absolutely, right away. 10 seconds.
Because who cares?
5, 4,
Eau de babouin.
3,
Thanks for joining us for part 3. We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now the wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The
Lui, c'est trop le pigeon d'Advance. Bah oui, c'est clair.
Talent, and we're very excited about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director, and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Actually, I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff DePlume now. How do you like that?
Yeah, very fancy. I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly. I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh.
I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
And how does Angela feel about all this? Your wife? Your wife?
God, no. No, she's long gone. No, she was holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
And
Moving on now.
why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call offering me 25 grand to write a pro-team sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy. You make hay while the sun shines. You ring
J'ai fait une erreur dans la cam.
you can get out of this. Every penny you can get out of this. So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking. That's a shite.
And without further ado, let's give it up for the notice board.
The notice board.
Good morning, Miss Craven. Good morning.
Oh,
Miss Craven.
morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Oh, Ray, it's those young louts. They've vandalised my shop again.
J'adore ce sketch.
Yes!
Ah, c'était pas.
They've written all sorts of obscene language and crude pictures, and I know it's those damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society like this key into this lock. See? Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And just like that, we can unlock their future.
Yes, yes. Wow! Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
What? This one? Oh, so you're right. Here it is.
It's a letter from my granddaughter, Brenda. She says she got an A on her maths exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
What's up, losers? What's up, losers?
Tu vas le rater, lui.
Oh, no. It's Brad. He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right. I just got here on my motorbike.
Oh, clear off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No, ruffians? Have you come to tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way. I've actually come to pin my resume on that notice board. I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What? Did you say tutoring?
That's right.
Tutoring?
That's right. Would you mind, Ray? Would you mind, Ray?
Not at all. Not at all.
So you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for months.
Blow me down!
You know what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No doy.
So it wasn't you who vandalised my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray.
Ah, j'ai un lag.
Oh, what the heck? Give us a hug.
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of the notice board, but we are receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we're picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be... Oh God. What appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions. I'm being told we're experiencing power fluctuations as a result, so apologies for any interruption to this broadcast for you at home. And apparently we can head over to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julia Salisbury any moment now. Yep, yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent.
Ah, rigole pas la première ministre quand même.
We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres, and we will not hesitate to detonate them if our conditions are not met in full and without delay. The people of our territory will no longer tolerate your illegal and genocidal blockade. You are to remove it immediately. We will accept nothing less than your unconditional surrender. Your territories will be taken under our control. We will install replacement governments to ensure that your citizens become part of the new future. Your borders are now our borders. Your people are our people. They will finally be fed and clothed and educated and healed. But for your privileged few, the moment that they feared is now upon them. Allow me to be crystal clear. If you fire a single shot at our territory or harm a single one of our citizens, we will not hesitate to detonate further devices. You will not find them, though no doubt you are already searching for them. Our technology is decades ahead of yours. We will expect your complete acceptance
Ok.
of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to think of what Jeremy would say if he were here now. He was always sceptical of advance. Then I suppose he was always sceptical about everything. That's part of what made him so frustrating to work with. And so brilliant. I'm not going to lie, Jeremy, I really wish you were here now. You'd know what to say. You'd know how to bring everyone together. And I don't think you'd be angry. I think you'd see that anger was the engine that brought us here. I think you'd want us to stop, to look around us at the people and things we're so very lucky to have, and to realise what a privilege it is just to be alive. I think you'd want us to spare a thought for those with loved ones who are abroad tonight. And I think you'd be worried about retaliation. You wouldn't show it. You'd remind us that this country and its people endure. You'd remind us that despite the way you hated how it sounds, we are a team. And I think you'd ask us to go to our loved ones and be with them tonight. But I don't have the words that you had, Jeremy. None of us do. My name's Megan Wolfe. Let's make tomorrow better.
And we're out.
So, hi, I'm Sophia Remington, and it takes more than an all-night yacht party to stop me from doing my job.
He'd have loved it.
Times are tough for you guys, huh?
Ah, ça a l'air de pire en pire par contre les pubs.
Lost touch with the simple joy of
Yeah, he
consuming
would have
you
done, you old
and
bastard.
Well, look no further, you poor huddled masses. You need...
Et on arrive du coup à la fin de l'épisode 2. On va regarder le journal. Et on va aussi aller voir les rushs après. Mais je pense qu'on va d'abord regarder le journal pour voir un peu le message de Disrupt. Parce que j'avoue que j'ai pas du tout pu écouter ce qu'a dit Alan James. Surtout qu'en plus on avait le son baissé. Donc on va commencer par ça. Et après ça on va aller regarder les nouveaux segments. Si ça vous convient. Bon, d'abord, on va voir le trailer pour le 3e épisode. 3e et dernier épisode. Mais voilà, mais j'aime toujours beaucoup ce jeu, j'ai maintenant hâte d'avoir la suite de l'aventure. La suite est fin. Malheureusement, comme ils vont le dire les développeurs après, en Angleterre, ils sont à nouveau dans un confinement. Donc ils savent pas quand est-ce qu'ils pourront tourner le 3e épisode. Donc ça va sans doute décaler. Et malheureusement, je pense qu'on ne l'aura pas avant au moins cet été. Le temps que la situation passe un peu là-bas. Et qu'ensuite ils enregistrent, qu'ils montent et qu'ils fassent le développement du jeu. Peut-être qu'on aura un lockdown, l'épisode lockdown 2. Ça c'est cool d'avoir un autre épisode bonus, mais voilà.
This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex. And we need your help.
We're so proud to be here today on this, the 500-day anniversary.
It's time to choose. Alex, whose side are you on?
After all, doesn't your family deserve a good, nutritious meal?
in these difficult times.
But before we go, one final thought.
Le meilleur reste à venir. Alors, autant sur la première version, que Jeremy soit en vie, c'est faisable, dirons-nous.
I'm Andy. And I'm Dan. Jay, we said Zoom.
Autant sur le deuxième, ça a l'air plus compliqué.
Oh, sorry boys.
Attends, Winston, c'est pas ton nom de famille? Peut-être. J'avoue que je me rappelle plus de mon nom de famille. Moi, ça fait longtemps que j'ai pas fait le premier épisode, donc c'est possible.
We don't know when we'll next be able to film with a full cast and crew.
So once again, we have to ask you to please be patient with us. And if you want to talk to us in the meantime, come chat with us on Discord at discord.gg/notforbroadcast.
We stream on Twitch every first and third Thursday of the month at twitch.tv/NotGamesUK. We always check the Steam forums for any suggestions or problems you may have.
And we read every Steam review, even the horrible ones, because your opinion matters to us.
So all that remains to say is thank you so much for playing our weird little game.
And
see you in episode 3. Probably, if I have come up with a cure by then, I will let you know. Last time it didn't go so well for me.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm John.
Allez, le rapport final, du coup, A+, E sur la chanson, et on a un A+, à nouveau sur le dernier segment. Donc ça, c'est cool. Indice diffusion B, du coup. On a reçu notre plein salaire, fortune actuelle. Ah bon, on était pauvre et fauché. À cap sur les vacances, d'accord. Forcément, Nil fera pas dingue, on continue de monter. RS a descendu. Va falloir qu'on revoie un petit peu. Va falloir revoir beaucoup de choses. Advent, Disrupt. Ok, cool. Allez, on va passer un peu dans les archives quand même pour voir un peu tout ça. On va commencer par regarder la diffusion pour avoir les messages de. Attendez, à part si je peux les avoir là. Non, je peux pas les avoir là, les messages de Disrupt, donc je suis obligé de regarder dans la diffusion. Donc on va regarder la diffusion, on va charger la cassette et on va admirer.
Before we join Megan Wolf and the team for tonight's National Nightly News, there's just time to take a peek at what's coming up.
Histoire de pouvoir avoir les messages de Disrupt. Après ça, on regardera dans la salle des rushs les 2-3 rushs nouveaux qu'on a. Il n'y en a pas tant que ça. Et puis après ça, on regardera quelques pubs. Ça semble pas mal comme programme.
Not one to miss. At 7 p.m, it's a look back to happier times with part 8 of our acclaimed documentary series, The First 365, which looks at the astonishing progress made by Advance.
Par contre, on n'a pas les sous-titres. J'essaie de vous faire la traduction de Disrupt quand on passera sur Disrupt. Là, par contre, vous voyez, ils font un documentaire sur les premiers 365 jours de Advance.
From the semi-finals of Pro Amateur Sports Board, the Sports Board game. At 9, it's our nightly war report from the late
le bidule game.
Followed at 9:25 by our unsettling
le war report.
When Katie went abroad, which tells the cautionary tale of one
le rapport de
brave
guerre.
young lady's battles to survive the cruel administrations of our neighbours. At 11:25,
et When Katie Went Abroad, donc ça suit l'histoire de Cathy qui doit survivre aux cruautés faites par nos gouvernements voisins.
On the humble biscuit. And that takes us, after the weather and public information film, into our close down.
Et on terminera du coup par la météo.
It's time to join Megan and the team for the National Nightly News.
Et on va aller voir Megan pour National Nightly News.
This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolf. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight.
C'est dommage par contre on n'est pas... Éventuellement je vais peut-être avancer pour rejoindre les zones où il y a Disrupt là. Je sais pas ce que vous en pensez. En même temps il y a longtemps que j'ai pas regardé un journal complet voir ce que ça donne.
Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise. Don't starve. Advance's food programme moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. With dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain, it can come as no surprise that the transition centres have found themselves stretched to capacity. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a team membership card. A worrying
Juste regarder un tout petit truc, je vais réaccélérer jusque là après. Je juste regarder un tout petit truc dans les options, vérifier. Ça me semble bizarre de ne pas avoir les sous-titres. Est-ce que je peux les mettre quelque part? Texte français. Donc a priori il y a bien les sous-titres quand même. Hein. What a wild ride. Et c'est bien coché. Donc ok. Donc c'est pas... C'est juste, ça doit pas être encore développé cette partie-là. Ok.
Before we join Megan Wolf and the team for tonight's National Nightly News.
Désolé, j'ai regardé juste voir si on n'avait pas moyen de mettre les sous-titres. Éventuellement, je leur enverrai un message pour leur demander voir si c'est possible d'avoir les sous-titres sur tout ce qui est Rediffusion. On l'a eu. Hop là, on était là.
Spokesman Alan James held an impromptu rally today in the northern city of Mankipool. Large crowds gathered to hear the band speaker prove Disrupt are still able to capture the public's imagination. A representative from the Mankipool Community Cohesion Team described the event as mostly peaceful. But it looks like Disrupt aren't going quietly in... And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical Disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. A passionate and rebellious man, always willing to question authority.
Oh non, 85, j'avais pas fait gaffe en fait à quelle année on était. Je pense pas qu'on aurait l'année.
By Advance for his outstanding dedication to journalistic truth. But first this evening, with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive interview from his home in Lancashire. That's coming up on tonight's National
Nightly News.
I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later we've got a new feature that's sure to keep you coming back for more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lancashire. Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Oh, have we started? Yes, that's right, Miss Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old mum used to say, just because she won't
Je suis surpris en fait qu'il y ait une telle différence entre ces histoires entre les deux modes qu'on a fait quoi.
Quick fiddle? What's wrong?
Oh.
It's isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this?
Today, I spoke to the people of Mankipool, and when I was finished, I stuck around, and I did something I would never have done in my old life. I listened.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé à des gens et j'ai fait quelque chose que j'ai jamais fait jusqu'à présent. Quelqu'un m'a parlé de ses problèmes de sécurité sociale.
That she can no longer sleep peacefully at night.
Elle s'est aperçue aujourd'hui qu'elle pouvait plus dormir tranquillement.
Preoccupied by the worry of being a burden on his children, and counting the days until they sit him down and tell him he is exactly that. I listened to Anna.
Il écoutait sur Anna.
Spent her lunchtimes in the school cafeteria eating alone, because she is the only girl in her class
sa pause
who
méridienne
isn't a go-getter.
Dans la cafétéria.
They have never met, these three, and they
Ils
are
sont
of
jamais
different
rencontrés.
ages and
Ils sont
social
différents
backgrounds,
âges,
but they
différents.
share a common experience.
Ils ont une expérience
They share
commune.
a nagging feeling that there is something deeply wrong in our utopia.
Partage le sentiment que quelque chose
And I
est
share
très
that
mauvais
feeling.
dans ce qui se passe actuellement.
And maybe you do
Et je
too.
partage ce sentiment. Peut-être que vous aussi.
In the days and weeks ahead, I will be
Les
speaking
semaines et les
throughout
jours
the country.
qui
But you
arrivent,
don't need to wait
je vais
for
parler au pays.
Disruptor everywhere.
Mais il n'y a pas besoin
Every
d'attendre.
bar,
Disrupt
every street
est partout.
corner.
Dans
Look
tous les
for
bars,
us and
dans
you
tous les
will
coins de rue.
find us. You are
Regardez
not
pour nous
alone.
et vous nous verrez. Vous n'êtes pas
Advance
seul.
are not the only team.
Advance n'est pas la seule équipe.
Oh, yeah. Also, it doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really an example of team spirit?
What? Did you know about this, Gail?
10 weeks ago,
Il y a 10 semaines,
Jeremy Donaldson
Jeremy
took control of
Donaldson
the National Nightly
a pris le
News.
contrôle du National Nightly News.
He tried to warn us all about the now
Il a essayé de nous
abandoned
prévenir
top-secret military lab at Grantham Downs.
Du
We may never
labo
know
top
exactly
secret.
what was being done there.
On saura peut-être jamais ce qui se
Jeremy
passera là-bas.
Donaldson made us look.
Mais Jeremy Donaldson
And
nous a
this
fait
is just
regarder.
one of the reasons he is considered Disrupt's first martyr.
Et c'est pour ça qu'il est considéré comme le premier martyr de
what?
Disrupt.
I think there's every chance he'd hate that.
Et le pire, c'est qu'il y a une grande
I
chance
only
qu'il
met him
aime,
a
qu'il
few
déteste ça.
times in a professional context.
J'ai rencontré que quelques fois
And
dans un
usually,
contexte
he exposed
professionnel.
me for the grandstanding fool I was back then, but
Et la plupart du temps, il m'a exposé pour le
some
fou que
reason,
j'étais à l'époque.
I always enjoyed it.
Et
I liked him.
pour certaines raisons,
I liked his
j'aimais
wit,
ça. J'aimais bien.
his jagged edges, and most of all, I liked his total dedication to the truth.
Mais plus
He
important,
died for that truth.
j'adorais
Died as an individual.
qu'il soit toujours pour la vérité. Il est mort pour
And
cette
by
vérité.
adorning his resting place with
Libre.
our colours and our emblem, we will help to keep both him and his spirit of relentlessness alive.
Et sur sa tombe, je jure que nous garderons
well,
son
Jeremy.
esprit et ses
not be
idées
forgotten.
en vie. Reste in peace, Jérémy. Tu ne seras pas oublié.
And you know what? You get more like him every day.
J'ai hâte de revoir le rush aussi dessus là.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes.
Oh, la tête.
Well, I imagine that there
Sorry,
will be
you
the
imagine?
usual. No, what I mean is.
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
Well, I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old mum used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards, what else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through? Get out, refill my last. Ta. Ah, come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for?
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, that does make more sense, actually.
How's rationing affecting you?
On regardera après, mais ça me fait déjà marrer
But
quand
we get
même.
by, you just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt. I want for nothing. Except for a decent night's sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the Culture Spot with Lil C and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that. We'll be back after this.
Ok, c'est la pub. On va laisser la pub. Parce que ça va être une ultra pas dingue.
Pre-Christmas, crazy Christmas deal. It's post-Christmas, it's pre-Christmas, it's all of the Christmas.
It's gonna go, go, go! Come on down and pull a cracker. It'll go bang in your face and you'll take whatever comes out. Yay! Christmas pineapple on a tree. Take 2 baubles, take 3. We don't care how many baubles. Take a candle. Set fire to your Christmas tree. Set fire to your life. If you're thinking Christmas is a way off and the blockade is getting
C'est quand même un des développeurs. Hein.
but the prices are lower. We've even had to get crazy creative. And we've got specials on all of the furniture with tinsel. We've got furniture without tinsel. We got Christmas furniture. We got pre-Christmas Christmas furniture. It's a cracker of a deal, a crazy deals. Yay! We got crazy Christmas dots. We got crazy Christmas dots in hats. We got crazy Christmas dots in hats and jumpers. If you're feeling hungry, don't feel down in the mouth. You can have a dog on a log. And remember, a dog isn't for life. It's just for Christmas to eat. It's a crazy deal, a crazy deals. We've got elves on trees. We've got trees on elves. If you want to know where the elf on the shelf is, we've got elves on elves. Bend over and ready for you to take home. We got naughty Christmas nativities with naughty Christmas figurines. We got crazy Christmas num bums. We've got crazy Christmas big bums. It's the 6th Mrs. Crazy Neil used to say to me, bang, bang, bang. She had to go, but I still love Christmas. Christmas without her is not the same, but I don't care because I'm insane. Come on down to Crazy Neil's for your Christmas needs. Wife's not included.
Surtout la femme n'est pas incluse, c'est surtout ça qui
Thanks
intéresse.
for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature
Allez,
that we
lis le
just know
si.
you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest.
On va avoir un
rose to
message de
prominence
Disrupt au
as the
milieu.
delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C!
Ah tiens, il n'y a pas le bruitage par contre dans la diffusion.
May I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
Ooh, what's the regime?
And my manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water and then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Oh, well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together, it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything.
Je suis désolé, à chaque fois ça fait marrer quand il pense que son père
this
enlève des femmes.
newfound explosion into your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Your manager again.
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh, do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh. Well,
Et on se demande pourquoi.
We're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Yep, it's from my album Put It In My A Together and it's...
Allez, Disrupt.
My friend let her 13-year-old son join the Go-Getters. He's occupied now. Busy, even. His room's never been tidier.
Il faut que j'en prenne au début, j'ai oublié de faire la trad. Désolé.
My friend let her 13-year-old son join the Go-Getters.
Mon ami a laissé son fils de 13 ans rejoindre
His room's never been tidy.
Agent.
But he keeps notebooks he won't let her read.
Et il garde des cahiers qu'il laisse pas lire.
And last week, she found him searching through her papers.
La semaine dernière, il l'a surpris en train de chercher dans ses papiers. Il a toujours une bonne réponse à ce qui se passe. Mais de cette manière, elle est trop bonne. Comme s'il parlait de la part d'Advance. On va savoir ce que les news ne nous disent pas, ne nous disent plus. On va pirater vos news. On va résister et on va perturber les choses.
Better, but I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little
On va peut-être
girl,
passer
I
la chanson par
in
contre.
front of the radio.
Allez, on va passer jusqu'au segment suivant. Et bonsoir Keto.
La loi fédérale
Merci pour
m'impose
ton
de
os.
vous avertir
Pour
que
ton
la
aide, pardon.
prochaine salle de test a une super déco.
Et bonsoir Stimmy, bienvenue. Comment vas-tu? On est en train de regarder les rushs sur notre Broadcast l'épisode 2. Parce que là on a fait la version Disrupt et il se passe des choses. Ça va? Bah ça va nickel, on s'est bien amusé encore sur notre Broadcast aujourd'hui. Merci pour ton raid Keto, j'espère que tu vas bien également.
Thanks for joining us for part 3.
Et attention, on arrive sur le dernier segment de l'épisode. Et il va se passer des choses. On va passer un petit peu la première partie. J'espère que ton stream s'est bien passé. Je sais pas trop sur quoi tu étais aujourd'hui. On va regarder. Keto, SO. C'était sur Werewolf The Apocalypse Earthblood. Je sais pas ce que c'est. Est-ce que c'était bien? Comment?
Jeff Algebra, guys!
Un nouveau jeu.
Actually,
D'accord.
I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff de...
Attends, on va avancer directement jusqu'à... Il est sorti hier. Ok. On va avancer jusqu'aux événements, on va dire. Un jeu de loup-garou. Ah bah tiens, c'est étonnant ça de ta part. Juste pour avoir la fin de Disrupt pour savoir ce qui s'est dit. Et après on passera sur les rushs. Nanana. Alors attention, c'est la fin de l'épisode 2 là, si vous voulez pas vous faire spoiler. Mais voilà.
I'm being told we're picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be... Oh God. What appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions.
Voilà, donc 4 explosions nucléaires dans des pays à côté, des millions de morts.
I'm being told we're experiencing power fluctuations as a result, so apologies for any interruption to this
Quelques petites
broadcast.
fluctuations d'électricité qui génèrent des petits problèmes sur
apparently we can head over to team
la
headquarters
retransmission, c'est
for
pas grave.
emergency broadcast
Et on
from
va
Prime Minister
challenge.
Julia Salisbury any moment now. Yep, yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously.
Donc Advance a fait exploser 4 têtes nucléaires dans différentes villes. Et c'est des gens d'Advance qui ont fait ça. Et ils ont les mêmes genres d'instruments dans 58 autres villes. On a entendu des histoires de fluctuations d'électricité, des séismes ponctuels. Stand-by. On a perdu contact avec nos bienfaiteurs dans les pays voisins. Est-ce qu'on peut confirmer ça? Est-ce qu'on peut vérifier ça? J'ai besoin que ce soit vérifié.
I don't know if you can hear me. I
sais pas si
don't
vous arrivez à
know if you are
m'entendre.
receiving this,
Parce
but
que si
if
vous
you are,
recevez,
then you have to know.
mais si vous recevez, vous
You
devez
have to know
savoir,
what's being done.
vous devez
What's
savoir ce qui
being
s'est passé
done right now
maintenant
to our neighbors. This
chez nos
is
voisins.
unprecedented.
C'est,
Our government
il n'y a
has
pas eu de
committed
précédent.
an act
notre gouvernement a pratiqué des actes de grande destruction en notre nom.
Je
m'en fiche de savoir comment vous votez. Vous n'avez pas voté pour ça. Personne ne l'a fait. C'est pas possible. On attend d'autres nouvelles. Et les réponses.
We will expect your complete acceptance of our terms by midnight tonight.
Voilà, ça c'était la fin des... Le dernier message de Disrupt, donc on a vu tous les messages de Disrupt. On va pouvoir aller voir les rushs, les nouveaux rushs et des choses qu'on n'a pas vues. Avec l'effondrement et Clément Lamant, donc le nouveau ministre. Attendez, je vais juste me changer de place parce que du coup les écrans ils vont être là cette fois. Hop, je vais m'en remettre ici pour l'instant. Histoire qu'on regarde les deux rushs qui nous intéressent. On va commencer par l'effondrement avec Jérémy, après qu'on ait passé la cassette. Donc pour information, Jérémy a pris le contrôle. Jérémy Nelson a pris le contrôle de la chaîne en pointant une arme. Et il nous a demandé de passer une cassette de Disrupt. On l'a passé cette fois. La dernière fois, je ne l'avais pas passé.
How long?
Jeremy, please.
How long?
17 seconds.
And the studio doors are all still locked?
Yes. So what now?
I don't know. This wasn't what I planned. I mean, some of it was. I had a speech, look. But this was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off.
God, please, don't do any more stupid things today.
Attention, ça va être violent si vous ne l'avez pas vu.
How long, Jenny?
Enfin, dans une dizaine de minutes, à la fin du rush. Mais quand même.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, for what I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News.
Est-ce qu'il faut que je vous fasse la traduction ou pas, par contre? N'hésitez pas à me le dire.
A friend.
Je t'avais lancé la pub aussi. Pas même j'ai lancé la dernière fois, donc je voulais voir ce qui se passe.
What's your name?
Et c'était assez violent aussi quand même. Hein.
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that for you, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's
tout à fait bilingue. Ok, donc faut que je fasse la traduction.
It's good. it's not about confrontation anymore. You know,
en gros, lui, ils ont remplacé. Advance a remplacé les policiers, c'est devenu des CCO.
The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Je sais pas ce que vous voulez me dire. Vous savez vraiment rien. On reviendra à vous tout de suite.
Jenny?
Jenny?
I don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
Je veux pas être sur dans les news.
That's perfectly understandable.
Tout à fait compréhensible.
Who'd want to do this?
Qu'est-ce qui voudrait faire ça?
Jenny.
Jenny?
Why did you join the National Nightly News?
Pourquoi tu rejoins National Nightly News?
I always wanted to work in news.
J'ai toujours voulu travailler dans l'information.
Yes, but why specifically
mais
this
pourquoi
program?
spécifiquement cette émission?
It was the news everyone trusted.
C'était le journal que tout le monde croyait.
Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
Vous voulez pas vraiment parler sémantique?
Oh, there is a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
Ah oui, alors attendez, effet, pardon. Si vous étiez pas là, parce que je vois qu'il y a du monde qui était pas là. Du coup, la cassette qu'on a passée, ça nous a révélé que Alan James était le leader de Disrupt, le groupe dont on a déjà entendu parler dans les épisodes précédents. Donc là, en gros, il a dit quand elle lui parle de quand il a découvert que c'était Alan James qui était sous la cagoule. Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? J'ai vu ton visage quand il a enlevé sa capuche. Tu savais pas, non? C'est à propos du message, pas du messager. Ouais, tu savais pas. Non. Je savais pas. Les people que j'ai rencontrés, il était pas là. Je savais pas que c'était Alan James. Sérieusement?
Alan fucking
Alan fucking James?
You're
flushing your life down the toilet for...
Tu balances ta vie dans les toilettes pour... Je t'aime, Jérémy,
He's a
mais
good speaker.
c'est un bon parleur.
He's popular in the country.
Il est populaire dans le pays.
That right?
Ouais, c'est vrai.
Look, forget Alan James.
Oublie Alan James.
There is still something deeply wrong.
Il y a toujours quelque chose
And you know
de
it,
très
Jenny?
mauvais.
And you know it, Andy?
Tu le sais,
And
Jenny,
you-
tu le sais, Andy.
You at home, you know it too.
Et vous, à la maison, vous le savez également.
Meanwhile, I'm
Pendant ce temps-là,
interviewing a guest who
moi,
stinks
j'interviewe
of shit.
un
Patrick is
invité
paddling about in shit.
qui
And
sent la
Robin-
merde.
Robin is literally interviewing someone who
euh,
collects the fucking stuff.
Le journaliste
I mean, it's
est allé
not
voir la ville
sophisticated,
qui sentait
what a
la merde.
metaphor. We are sleepwalking
Et Robin
our
s'est fait
way
présenter la
into
merde.
oppression, and the news isn't saying anything. We're not
On se
saying
dirige vers une
anything.
oppression très présente et les news ne disent rien. Qui est-ce qui dit ça?
What are
Alan
all
fucking
those
James?
scientists working on at Grantham Downs?
Qu'est-ce que disent les
What are they
scientifiques
testing underground at Altagrove?
underground dans les...
Your turn. Make
Attends.
yourself fucking useful.
Je sais pas si vous vous rappelez, toujours pour ceux qui n'étaient pas là, depuis le début, on parle de scientifiques qui sont enfermés en sous-sol. Dans les news, on nous demande de choisir entre A et B. Est-ce qu'elles sont alliées? Est-ce qu'on ne sont pas alliées? Tout ça. Donc là, ils se demandent, en gros, qu'est-ce qu'il y a là-bas, quoi. Qu'est-ce qu'on est en train de faire là? Qu'est-ce que le gouvernement est en train de faire là-bas? Qu'est-ce qu'ils sont en train de tester?
How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that...
Alors, il y a aussi le fait que maintenant, on est soi-disant avoir une carte d'identification qui n'est pas obligatoire, mais que c'est mieux si on l'a quand même et qu'on peut clairement dire que c'est une carte d'identité. Et qu'est-ce qui se passe? En gros, il demande à l'officier, qu'est-ce qui se passe si jamais on ne peut pas présenter la carte?
We will accept.
For how long?
On a d'autres moyens qu'on peut accepter.
Then
Pendant
why
combien
do
de temps?
you need these?
Mais pour ça va. Et pourquoi vous avez besoin de ça, d'une arme, en gros?
Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy?
Ça fait pas bien de se sentir pointé autour
Let
de
me
l'arme.
demonstrate it for you. Let
Laissez-moi vous
me
montrer.
help you.
Laissez-moi vous aider.
You read these cards with my notes on it, and you'll
Vous
probably
mangez
digest a fact.
mangez mes cartes
wouldn't it,
avec
Andy?
les news
Knowing
dessus.
a fact?
What? I don't
Do you want my
Comme ça, vous
help,
allez digérer les faits.
Whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
La sécurité est là, Jérémy. Mangez-la.
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll
Mangez les
force
nouvelles.
it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy,
Ou alors je te les forcerai dans la gorge.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it.
Mangez-la.
Eat it, you
Mangez-la.
fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop.
Jérémy, arrête.
They will kill you.
Ils vont te tuer.
Please.
S'il te
Don't
plaît.
make me watch that.
Ne me fais pas regarder ça. S'il te plaît.
Of course.
Bien sûr.
You're right.
T'as raison.
Sorry.
Désolé.
Sorry, everyone.
Désolé tout le monde.
You can put the card down now, Andy.
Tu peux poser la carte, Andy.
You can go now.
Et tu peux y aller.
You too, Jenny.
Toi aussi,
Fuck
Jenny.
off over there.
Dégagez de là.
We're nearly done. All cameras on me.
Toutes les caméras sur moi.
This new regime of ours is so
Ce nouveau régime que nous avons
seductive.
est tellement
I
séduisant.
understand that.
Je comprends bien ça.
But before we all hand off our freedoms,
Mais avant
shall
qu'on
we
donne
ask the
tous
who we're hanging over?
nos libertés à lui,
Don't you want to know what's being done in your name?
est-ce que vous voulez pas savoir ce qui se fait entre notre nom? Combien de personnes ont été envoyées en transition le mois dernier? Le record, une nouvelle fois. Est-ce que quelqu'un ne devrait pas demander à Advance comment gérer avec ce blocus? Pourquoi on pose pas ces questions plutôt que c'est la merde de qui ça? Il y a un chien en coulisses qu'on devait interviewer plus tard. C'est pour ça que j'ai arrangé que vous voyez tous cette cassette. Je savais pas que ce serait lui.
But I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James.
J'ai pas compris.
Christ, it's all so fucking pointless. I was gonna quit tonight.
J'allais démissionner ce soir.
Take a holiday.
Partir en
Try something
vacances.
else.
Essayer autre
Out of the
chose.
limelight. Maybe try having a relationship.
Peut-être essayer d'avoir une relation.
Never tried it.
Paraît que c'est bien. J'ai jamais essayé.
I loved the news.
J'adore les news.
And now, well,
God, Jeremy, don't.
Et maintenant, non, Jérémy,
I've
non.
tried my best to be honest with you, but
J'ai essayé
this just isn't the news anymore.
de faire le
And
mieux
I'm
possible.
sorry. I've lost this fight.
J'ai perdu ce combat.
Cut to the ads.
I've let you down.
Je vous ai
All of you.
Cut to the ads.
laissé tomber.
My
Tous.
name's Jeremy Donaldson.
Do it
Mon nom
now!
est Jeremy
If you
Donaldson.
can,
Et si vous pouvez,
somehow,
d'une certaine manière,
and I envy you if you can,
et je vous envie si vous pouvez le faire,
have a peaceful night.
ayez une nuit tranquille. Voilà. J'avais prévenu. Ok, donc on a eu tout le segment avec Jérémy, le nouveau segment avec Jérémy. Ah, bah oui, oui. Ça a fait drôle en direct, je ne m'attendais pas à ce qu'il tire réellement. On va passer après sur un segment plus rigolo, on va dire, avec le Premier ministre, Clément Lamant. Ça va être un peu plus calme, dirons-nous. La traduction va être plus compliquée par contre, parce qu'il utilise un langage un peu plus...
But first this evening,
Je sais pas trop
with
comment
the
dire.
war about to enter
Hop là, pardon.
punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive
Voilà, il va interviewer
interview from
le
his
Premier
home
ministre,
in
Peter
Lancashire.
Clément.
That's coming up on tonight's National Night News.
Why is it so
Il est un peu plus
hard to
bourré.
turn the fucking way out? Girl! I think...
Attendez, on va écouter d'abord là, on reviendra après pour écouter ce qu'il dit.
Joking. They write the questions now too.
Ils écrivent les questions maintenant en plus.
You know that. Besides.
Besides what?
Well, is he? I don't think it's anything more sinister than that.
Yeah, but you're infinitely trusting.
I am undauntable, impervious to daunts, whatever they may be. 10 seconds.
Well, I'm not sticking to these, but I'll play nice if he will.
I can live with that. Going in
En gros, il restera pas sur les questions.
4.
On va revenir en arrière pour écouter ce qu'il dit le Premier ministre parce qu'il a l'air complètement déchiré. Enfin, c'est pas il a l'air, on sait qu'il est complètement déchiré.
On tonight's National Nightly News.
Why is it so hard to turn the fucking way out? Girl!
C'est vraiment trop dur de
I
tourner
think
les
his
pédales.
bike's brakes are
Je pense que...
fucked.
Gaël, je pense que les pédales sont cassées.
Speak up, my deaf old ears can't hear you.
I said there's nothing wrong with the bike.
Well, could you get someone to
Je
look
dis-
at it, please, before I look like
Il n'y a
a
rien de mauvais avec le
complete prick on the
vélo.
national
Eh ben, demande à
nightly
quelqu'un de
news.
vérifier avant que j'aille voir le National Nightly News.
30 seconds. Put your earpiece in for fuck's
Dans 30
sake.
secondes, tu vas dessus.
Christ, it's
Et
like
mets ton oreillette.
bloody thing. It's like losing my virginity all over again.
J'ai l'impression de perdre ma virginité encore une
That's
fois.
it. How long have we got?
10 seconds.
What?
Dans combien de temps commence? 10 secondes.
Pedaling, Peter.
Oh, right.
And looking surprised in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Oh,
Bonne nuit, bonsoir, Premier ministre. Est-ce qu'on a...
yes, that's right, Miss Wolf. Just
Oh,
a
la
few
gueule.
minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined a gym or anything.
Ah, genre,
As my old man used
j'adore
to
la
say,
gym.
just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister.
Language.
What?
What? Quoi?
Quick fiddle?
Quick fellow.
What's wrong?
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de... Oh,
It's shitter, isn't it?
c'est le cheater. Enfin, c'est la merde.
And
C'est
can
ça.
you tell us what brought about this new you?
Est-ce que vous voulez dire qu'est-ce qui a amené ce nouveau vous?
C and I were watching, you know, the night the
Madame C et moi, on
began.
a
When Donaldson,
regardé la soirée
well, you know,
Jeremy Donaldson,
I
hein,
were
vous
blistering
savez?
hot, as I'm sure you all remember, and I were a bit wheezy from all the cigars and all that. And Mrs. C turns to me after, you know, after the signal dropped away, and she was in full
J'ai du mal à
of
comprendre ce qu'il
tears.
dit, en fait.
And she says, PC, she says, I couldn't go on without you, she said. So I made a decision.
J'ai
And
pris une
since
décision
that
sur le
day,
soir-là, du soir de
I
Jeremy
have
Donaldson.
stopped
Et depuis ce soir, j'ai arrêté de
smoking
fumer
cigars.
des cigares.
Except for Christmas.
Excepté à Noël.
My birthdays.
Et mon anniversaire.
Weddings.
Mariage.
State dinners. That's what I
Dîner
said.
d'État.
I got this useless bloody backwards doesn't go anywhere.
Rien compris.
And apparently I'm going on a walking holiday this Christmas, and that should finish me off for bloody good.
Did you make the decision to holiday within the country this winter because of the blockade, Prime Minister?
Well,
Prévu part quelque part en vacances, mais j'ai pas compris où.
At the best of times. These are certainly not the best of times.
J'adore partir en vacances dans les meilleurs temps, mais c'est vraiment pas les meilleurs temps.
There's a lot of red tape involved in leaving the territories at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware.
Et c'est compliqué de quitter le pays actuellement.
Bastard long.
All in it together.
What?
All in it together.
Oh,
Essaie de garder un peu de... Reste un peu bien.
It doesn't seem very advanced
Et
to be
surtout,
going abroad when the
ça semble
rest
pas
of the
très
country
advanced
is
de partir en
grounded.
vacances pendant que
Yet,
tout le
Julia
reste du
Salisbury
pays est
announced
puni.
today that she'll be visiting Svenland during
Et
this
pourtant,
year's winter
l'autre
break.
Premier ministre
Is
ira
that
en
really an
Svetland.
example of team spirit?
What?
Quoi?
Did you know about this?
Est-ce que vous savez à propos de ça, Gaël?
No one tells me anything, Peter. You should know that. Why don't you
Personne
know?
ne dit rien, Gaël.
Leaving that for a moment, it says
Je
on
voudrais
this
savoir.
card that a body like yours must take some planning to achieve. What's your morning routine?
C'est quoi votre routine matinale de sport? Parce qu'avec un corps comme ça.
Frigid morning routine.
Rigid. It's rigid for fuck's sake!
Oh yeah, a rigid and demanding plan that my doctor and personal trainer.
Who's your personal trainer?
Qui est votre entraîneur personnel?
Is that on your card?
I thought we might wonder. Prime Minister, speaking of planning, with the blockade in its 20th week and the people of this country
Avec le blocage dans
reeling
sa
from its
20e
effects,
semaine,
what plans do you
le
have
blocus
to
de sa
get us
20e
out
semaine.
of this mess?
Quel plan vous avez pour nous sortir de ce
Well,
pétrin?
that's a very blunt question, Mr.
Ça, c'est vraiment une question intéressante.
Prime Minister must have an answer.
Don't
Est-ce qu'il
you
peut avoir une
get
réponse?
smart with me, Pat. I was a fucking national treasure before you were
Soyez
a
pas intelligent avec
twinkle
moi.
in the milkman's
J'étais un trésor
scrotum.
national pendant que vous étiez
You
pas
wanna
encore dans
talk
les
about
couilles de votre
plans?
père.
Let me tell you about plans. That's all we do. Fucking plans and
Laissez-moi vous parler du
revised
plan.
plans. And
On
then
fait que
meetings
parler de
to
ça,
discuss
des putains de plans.
implementation of plans and plans that get more
Des
planning
plans,
for
des plans,
fucking
des plans et que des plans.
plans that get more fucking plans.
Et encore
That's
plus de
good.
putains de
That's
plans.
good to know, Prime
Do you
Minister.
know,
Est-ce que vous
I
savez?
used to really like you, Pat.
Je vous aimais beaucoup avant.
Fresh air.
Un
And
petit
I've
peu
been
d'air
watching
frais.
you. And you know what?
Mais je vous regarde de plus en
You get
plus.
more like him every day.
Et vous lui ressemblez de plus en plus.
I will take that as a compliment.
Je prends ça comme un compliment.
Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national
Premier
address
ministre,
from team
un
headquarters.
peu plus tard dans la
Can you
soirée,
give us a
on
hint of what she's going to
parlera
say?
avec l'autre Premier ministre. Est-ce que vous savez de quoi elle va
yes.
parler? Oui.
Well, I imagine that there
Sorry.
will
J'imagine
be
que...
imagine?
Désolé, vous imaginez?
No, what I
Non,
meant.
ce que je voulais
You
dire,
do
c'est...
know about
Vous
this
savez de quoi elle va
broadcast,
parler,
don't you,
non?
Prime Minister?
I'm sure I did.
Ouais, je suis sûr que je savais.
Julia and I have no secrets
Mais
from
Julia
each
et
other.
moi,
We
on n'a
don't
pas de
memorize
secret
each other's bloody diaries
entre
either.
nous, mais on ne
Your
retient pas nos
man used
agendas.
to say,
Comme ma mère
"If you wanna
disait,
get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards. What else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through? Get out. Refill my last.
Gaël, resserre-moi un verre.
Ah, come on.
Vas-y, parle, c'est moi une
Okay.
question.
What music do you listen to when you work out?
Quelle musique vous écoutez quand vous faites du sport?
Gail tells me that I work
Gaël
out
me
to
dit
a
que
little
j'écoute
C,
Lil
but
C.
I have absolutely no fucking idea
Mais j'ai
what that is.
aucune putain idée de qui c'est.
Do you think the C stands for?
It stands for
Est-ce que-
collaborative, Prime Minister.
Est-ce que vous pensez que le C vaut ici pour ça veut dire collaboration? Ah oui, ça
How
marche
is
aussi.
rationing affecting you?
It's hard,
Comment le rationnement
but we get
travaille
by.
pour vous?
You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt. I want for nothing.
J'ai Madame C et beaucoup de whisky à mon côté pour gérer ça.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining
Par
us.
des nuits correctes.
When we come back,
Ah, wow.
it's time.
Well, that was a fucking ambush.
C'est
Get
une
on
putain
that
d'embuscade.
phone now, right now, to that.
Téléphone.
Find out what that duplicitous bitch is up to, and get me a bottle of something stronger. This fucking government stuff is complete fucking bog water.
Oh putain. Et on va écouter ce qu'a répondu à la fin
1 minute
Jenny.
back, everybody. And that is what happens when you wander from the car. I
Et
don't think
ça,
you
c'est
knew
ce qui
that.
se passe
I
quand
don't-
tu
I
quittes
don't
les
think
cartes.
anyone's supposed to know. When you
Mais je pense
mentioned
pas
it,
qu'il
Bozeman
savait ce que
Space
ça voulait
Colour,
dire.
I think you call embolism.
Am I in trouble?
Bozeman? Nah, you're like the daughter he never had. Suppose the higher-ups might fire him, though.
Who's Lil C?
Or if there's any justice, me.
Who's Lil C?
Are you winding me up?
What? I'm civilized. I read books.
Elle se demande qui est Lil C. Lil C, donc c'est la chanteuse un peu à la Britney Spears qu'on a vu tout à l'heure. Mais voilà, bah, c'était le passage marrant, on va dire, avant la fin tragique de cet épisode. On va regarder quelques pubs. J'en ai certaines que j'ai pas vues, notamment pas les Advance, ça doit être celle-là, la Lootbox. Les SW, les suites. Ah merde, je suis plus au bon endroit. Voilà, les Remington Suites.
I'm Sophia Remington.
Hop là, c'est la deuxième. Alors attendez, il faut que je trouve la première avant. qu'a priori elle en a 2, mais ça a l'air d'être de pire en pire en fait à chaque fois.
Everybody loves farts.
C'est pas celle-là non plus. C'est pas l'autre babouin. Ah, la Survie Box, version siège.
Hi, I'm Sophia Remington.
Bonjour, je suis Sophia Remington,
CEO of Remington
la
Swiss.
CEO de Remington
I've been
Suisse.
paying attention.
Et j'ai
The blockade
prêté
around
attention.
your country has left people struggling to find just the basics.
Le
So
blocage
where
autour de
on
vos
earth
pays
are
vous
you
permet de
supposed
pas
to go
trouver
for
juste
other
ce qui vous...
essentials? The things that make life worth living.
Et ce qui vous manque, c'est quelque chose qui vous donne important pour vivre.
Jane. I can't remember the last time we boiled a duck à l'orange.
I concur absolutely, Brian. There's barely enough milk to undermine the tea.
George,
Elle a pas
from
assez
the
de lait
club.
pour mettre dans le thé.
He thought he had a chance as an avocado last Tuesday.
Le voisin, il pensait avoir un avocat la semaine dernière. Il est mort maintenant.
Woe is me. How did we ever fall so low?
Comment on est arrivé si bas?
I'm certain a preferable way exists.
Je suis sûr qu'il se passe, qu'il y a quelque chose de mieux qui peut se passer. Et vous avez
We've had
raison.
our biggest and best brains working on this for months.
Et on a notre
And we've got
équipe qui
you
travaille
covered
dessus
with
depuis
the
plusieurs mois.
Remington Swiss Siege Survival Box.
Avec la Remington
Inside
Suisse,
every blockade busting box,
boîte de
you'll
survie.
find the things you really missed.
Et dans cette boîte, vous
A
trouvez
red
tout ce dont vous avez
wine,
besoin.
we can
Du
harvest
vin
these
rouge,
chemicals. Some rare meat we grew in our production laboratory.
quelques viandes rares,
So salty, you'd believe it came from Svenland. The list
des choses
of
assez
luxury
salées que vous croyez que ça vient de
endless.
Svetland.
At least 7. And we've even added a random twist.
On a même
One in
rajouté quelque
every
chose.
100 boxes will
Une toutes les
contain
100 boîtes contiendra
Looks like
un
big
new
to start
flard,
lucky.
un nouveau flard.
Remington Swiss Siege Survival Boxes. So good you'll believe they were made somewhere else.
Les boîtes de survie Remington Suisse, elles sont tellement bonnes que vous croirez qu'elles ont été faites ailleurs. Svenland, pas Svetland. Ouais, ça va. Je fais la traduction en direct, c'est pas forcément évident. Et du coup, il y a les loot box derrière où elle est un petit peu plus. Hein.
Hi, I'm Sophia Remington.
Hi,
And it takes
bonjour,
more
je suis
than
Sophia
an
Remington.
all-night yacht party to stop me from doing my job.
Et il y a pas.
Tough for you guys,
Attendez,
huh?
je vais reprendre. J'avais pas vu venir celle-là.
Hi, I'm Sophia
Bonjour, je suis Sophia Remington.
And it takes more than an all-night yacht party
Et il faut
to stop
plus
me from
qu'une
doing my
grosse
job.
soirée sur un yacht
Tough for you guys, huh?
pour gérer tout ça. A priori, c'est compliqué pour vous. Le blocus, tout ça.
The simple joy of consuming new and wonderfully unnecessary products. Well, look no further, you poor huddled masses. You need the Sophia Remington swag box from me, Sophia
Et vous avez besoin d'une Remington swag box.
The old Market Square's looking a bit Somerset Bentley. Empty today.
I know, Bazza. I never thought I'd 5 a day say this, but I don't dog on a bike like shopping anymore. All the fun's gone.
I remember when there was all sorts
pas
of
tout ce qu'ils disent là.
grandma's feet. Me here, I'd take it home for the old wasted life. Wife, the boil.
I just wish I could put some unlicensed gun fun back into being Grandpa's bloomers, consumers.
Don't worry, you
Oh, ils veulent
poor
consommer,
dirty
continue.
conklings.
Ah,
Here's
traînez rien.
something to lift your barely little
J'ai quelque chose pour vous.
This is a Sophia Remington swag box.
C'est la
And you never
Sophia
know what's
Remington
in it
swag
before you
box.
break the seal and open it. Here.
Et vous savez pas ce qu'il y a dedans jusqu'à ce que vous cassiez le scellé et que vous
A
l'ouvriez.
rare weapon modifier, or even a handy set of 6 flards. And if you're not happy and you haven't broken the seal, you can even get a full no-quibble refund for just $50.99. It's fun, it's free, and it can't be gambling, otherwise we couldn't advertise it on television. I'm Sophia Remington, and I want you to have as much fun as I have, but you can't afford to. So here's the swag box instead.
Je suis Sophia Remington et j'aimerais bien que vous amusiez autant que moi, mais vous n'avez pas les moyens de le faire, donc voilà la swag box. Dans lequel il peut y avoir plein de choses a priori. C'est une sorte de loot box quand même avec des. Je crois qu'ils ont parlé de modification d'armes notamment, donc des vrais loot box hein, comme dans les jeux. C'était cool tout ça. Alors on a aussi les Noël frappadingues. Ah j'ai la révélation de. Ah on peut regarder la cassette. Très bien. Je pensais pas qu'on pouvait la regarder celle-là. La révélation de Disturb. Donc ça c'est la cassette qu'on a passée.
Good evening.
Bonsoir.
You know who we are.
Vous savez qui nous sommes.
You've seen our symbols on your walls.
Vous avez vu nos symboles sur vos
You've
murs.
heard them talk about us on the news.
On a parlé de nous
We are
aux nouvelles.
disliked.
Nous sommes Disrupt.
We are the resistance.
Nous sommes la résistance.
It's time you knew the truth. You know advance are lying to you.
Cache de paragraphe dans
You know the
Enter
elderly
Remington
are
Suisse.
not a
C'est
burden.
pour ça qu'il fallait investir chez eux.
You know the rich were not all evil.
Vous savez que tous les riches n'étaient
The
pas
team
tous ces
membership
démons.
card is an ID card. No matter what they
Et
try
qu'une
to
carte
tell you.
d'identification est une carte d'identité.
But why should you trust
Même
us?
si vous dites l'inverse.
Another
Pourquoi vous devriez
faceless
nous croire?
organisation. A shadowy figure with a distorted voice.
Une figure floue avec une voix
Well,
une voix modifiée.
is not a movie.
Comme on voit dans les films. Mais ça, c'est pas un film.
My name is Alan James.
Je suis Alan James.
I used to try and shock people for a living.
Avant, j'essayais de choquer les gens pour vivre.
But now we live in a time
Pour
where perhaps you need to be
le
shocked.
divertissement. Mais peut-être qu'aujourd'hui, vous avez
Perhaps
besoin
we
d'être
need to
choqué.
wake up.
Peut-être qu'on a besoin de se réveiller.
Advance are coming for our freedoms.
Advance vient
They're
pour
coming
nos
for the fruits
libertés.
of our labours. They will take our wealth. They will
Ils vont prendre nos
euthanize our
richesses.
parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns.
Ils vont tourner les enfants contre nous
But
si
you
on ne fait
don't
rien.
have to accept it.
Mais vous n'avez pas besoin d'accepter.
A great many people already won't. You can
Pas mal de
resist.
personnes ont déjà refusé d'accepter. Vous pouvez
Find us.
résister.
Talk
Vous
with
pouvez
us.
rejoindre Disrupt.
Join us.
Rejoignez-nous.
It isn't hard. We're everywhere.
C'est pas dur. Nous sommes partout. Cool. Alors on se termine par du frappadingue un peu. Alors le pré-Noël on vient de la revoir donc je vais pas la remettre. Attends, j'ai la révélation et de la propagande. C'est quoi la propagande? Ok, donc ça c'est ce que je viens de voir. Alors, et la révélation c'est quoi? C'est la même chose, d'accord. Je sais pas pourquoi on a les deux versions différentes, mais c'est pas grave. Alors, Advance, je les ai pas pris. Le pré-Noël de Nil Frappadingue, on l'a vu. On a le Long Summer de Nil Frappadingue. On a le, on a quand même le jeu de plateau, le Bidule Ball. Et ça, hein. Regardez ça, tiens. Le Bidule Ball, le jeu de plateau. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce son? Est-ce que c'est une petite cloche? C'est le son du vrai jeu de plateau Bidule Ball. The Poise Noise.
Oh, you know what that means. Put on the shame hat. And that's right.
Porter le chapeau de la honte.
Their ass now. Forget those tired old board games. The sports board game is the only game your family is going to want to play.
Bref, ils sont cons. Allez, moi je cherchais surtout les l'île Frappadingue. Donc on a le long été chaud Frappadingue. Je vais pas vous faire la trad parce que ça va trop vite là, mais en gros, you want it, we got it.
Hi, it's Crazy Neil with our mega hot sunny summer deal. The prices are heating up, but the temperature's going down. Or it's the other way around. We don't know. We've got dingoes. We've got ringos. Give me the flamingo, guys. I know the prices are mental. If you're boiling hot and you're thinking, I need to get cool, I need to get down to Neil's because we've got the aircon on. We're serving up ice creams to all the customers, but our prices are dropping faster than a kid with a cold. It's on the floor. Yes, they're dropping every day. We've got crazy artificial paddling poles, ornamental paddling poles, pets. Well, I don't care what you think. I'm gonna drop them even further. We got rubber rings for pets. We got rubber rings for you. We got rubber rings for them. We got rubber rings for her. Are you the managing director? No. We got everything from pina coladas, lifeboat starters, ladies on lilos. We got men in silos. If your favorite hobby is ice sculpting, but the outside is boiling, we can let you sculpt dragons. We can let you sculpt flagons. We can let you sculpt icebergs. Whatever the temperature is doing, we got a fan. You don't care? You're fired! Hey! So come on down to the Crazy Neil Long Hot Summer Deal Steal!
Ah, c'est fou. Ouais, il est un peu moins rapide que les autres celui-là par contre. On a un troisième normalement. Ah, le solstice estival, c'est celui-là. Solstice estival, frappe à dingue. Il y a un druide qui travaille parce que c'est le sol du solstice.
Come on down for a crazy midsummer deal. We've got all sorts of stuff in the garden. We've got fish, we got flowers, we've got dishes, we've got sacks, we've got garden plants, we've got garden ponds, we've got frogs. If you want an elephant, you can take it away in a wheelbarrow. You want it, we've got it. We've got bird baths, we got duck baths, we've got fire pits, we got a whole mess of crazy frogs with water coming out of their mouths. This is a crazy deal from a crazy midsummer deal. Gnome from gnome, home from home. We got more than 7 gnomes, cause we've got men with trombones. We've got reclining giants. We've got crazy garden gnomes with glasses. What's all that about? If you've got a loved one and you want them buried in your back garden, come on down to Crazy Deal, because we've got a headstone for you. And guess what? It's 50% off engraving. I'm not even making a profit, I'm making a loss. Get on out to the Crazy Neil Deal Summer Deal Show. Yeah!
Il va quand même des tombes, hein. Des tombes à côté des salons de jardin. Bref, bon bah c'était bien cool tout ça. On a terminé du coup cet épisode 2, donc avec quand même deux versions très différentes. Entre si on va à fond sur Advance, qu'on a fait la semaine dernière, ou aujourd'hui à fond sur Disrupt. Et on a quand même des segments assez différents. Hein. En fait, je suis en train de demander si le Premier ministre, c'est pas en fonction de savoir comment est mort Jeremy que ça change. Mais bon. C'était bien cool en tout cas, on a passé une bonne soirée. Visionner le documentaire. Il y a un documentaire. On va aller voir ce que c'est ça. Ça s'ouvre. Ah, on va regarder ça. Attendez, après. Ça dure 1 minute. Et c'est un petit reportage sur comment ils ont fait pendant le confinement. Attendez, je vous règle ça. On va quitter le jeu. On va passer sur une autre vue. Sur Elite, ça va être la bonne vue. Je vais mettre ça. J'attends juste qu'il m'ait quitté le jeu. Tac. Et on a besoin de... Oulala, attendez, j'attends que ça finisse de vaguer. Hop. Et on passe sur cette vue-là pour voir un petit peu. Alors là, j'ai pas écouté encore, donc on va voir ce que c'est.
We released episode 1 in January. Everything was going to plan.
On a fait l'épisode 1 en janvier, on a fait tout allait bien.
How the hell do we film when you can't have someone in the same room breathing the same air? So it was
Comment on fait pour filmer quand personne peut être dans la même pièce?
And the government locked down now in its 31st day.
There were several ways that the game was adapted to fit into this lockdown remote shooting one.
I have a question for you. Yes. Remember we talked about her entrance, so Megan does the thing.
I've used that word, fix it in post.
Ah, Mr. Bear!
On this occasion. Wish I'd never said it.
Very important question.
Il y a une coupure de 15 secondes. On va...
How much of your interview goes into the final product? So Jay,
yes.
What are
Deuxième
your
fois que ça coupe ce soir.
impressions?
Ah, ça a coupé. Ah, attendez, si ça a coupé, c'est peut-être juste quand... Malheureusement, j'ai vu que j'avais eu un drop d'image quand j'ai quitté le jeu. Ok, je vais relancer, c'est pas grave, on va recommencer. En attendant que tout le monde recharge, faites F5, hein.
Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to turn into despair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die.
Fait. Donc vous êtes de retour, vous m'entendez à nouveau? C'est quand j'ai quitté le jeu, ça a dû... Tu reviens trop tôt. D'accord, ok. Donc on va voir, alors du coup j'ai commencé à regarder ça, la vidéo, vous l'avez peut-être pas vu. C'est en gros un behind the scene, donc derrière la caméra, sur l'épisode de lockdown, donc du confinement. On a vu mais pas tout, d'accord, bon on va reprendre au début.
We released episode 1 in January. Everything was going to plan.
On a sorti l'épisode 1 en janvier, tout le monde allait bien.
You could see on the news things were not going to be normal.
On voyait aux news que tout n'allait pas se passer normalement. Comment on fait pour filmer quand personne ne peut filmer normalement? On peut respirer le même air dans la même pièce.
There were several ways that the game was adapted to fit into this lockdown remote shooting one.
Question for you. Yes. Remember we talked about her engine, so Megan does the thing.
I've used that word, fix it in post.
Mr. Bear.
Often. On this occasion, wish I'd never said it.
Very important question.
Very important.
It'll determine how much of your interview goes into the final product. So Jay,
yes.
What are your favourite flavour of crisps?
Attendez, c'est un reportage en fait? C'est quoi? Ou alors j'ai pas compris ce que c'était. Ah, c'est tout un reportage sur le confinement. Ok, alors attendez 2 secondes. On va se mettre là 2 petites secondes. Il faut que j'aille le rechercher sur Steam directement, ça. Bonsoir Vilain Coco, comment vas-tu? Et ça dure combien de temps? Attendez, c'est pré-lancement, mise à jour du ticket. Alors, on va pas le regarder parce que ça dure 1 heure. Donc il y a... C'est tout un reportage d'1 heure, donc je vais pas le mettre maintenant, on va pas regarder ça, mais je vais regarder de mon côté. Mais du coup, si vous voulez, c'est gratuit. Vous avez tout un reportage d'1 heure sur le jeu, et vous pouvez avoir les sous-titres français. Donc ça, c'est assez cool quand même. Ça va bien? Eh ben écoute, un reportage quoi. Ouais, mais en gros, c'est tout le behind the scene. Allez.
I think we need to buy some webcams. I think we need to do this. And everybody like, no, we're getting ready for episode 2.
Alors, par contre, ils sont tout petits les sous-titres.
And it was this horrible week running up.
Ok, bon, moi je vais le regarder de mon côté du coup, mais voilà, il y a un reportage qui existe du coup sur notre podcast sur comment il doit être dispo sur YouTube. Bah, après, je l'ai pas vu sur YouTube, mais il est dispo sur Steam par contre. Je l'ai pas vu passer sur YouTube par contre. Ok. Bon, c'est pas grave, j'irai voir ça plus tard. Bah du coup, on va s'arrêter là pour aujourd'hui. Merci d'avoir suivi ce live, c'était cool. J'ai une nouvelle fois adoré faire du Not for Broadcast. Vraiment, c'est un jeu que j'aime beaucoup. Et j'ai hâte maintenant d'avoir le dernier épisode, du coup, pour voir un petit peu la fin de l'histoire, la fin des 2 versions de l'histoire, puisque, comme je vous l'ai dit, on a d'abord la première version de l'histoire, où je suis full advance, on rentre dans le party, on fait la propagande au maximum, et la deuxième run, donc comme ce qu'on a fait ce soir, où on va côté Disrupt, donc côté de la résistance. Donc voilà, c'est assez cool, j'ai beaucoup aimé faire ça en tout cas. Et puis bah du coup, alors je sais pas quand est-ce que sortira ce 3e épisode, puisque l'Angleterre est à nouveau en confinement, mais quand il sortira, eh ben on se fera plaisir sur la chaîne et on fera ça. Ça va être cool. Bref. Allez, on va s'arrêter là pour ce soir. Moi, je vais vous laisser avec Asgard qui fait du Elite Dangerous, qui fait de l'explo sur Elite Dangerous, il me semble. Si j'ai bien vu, je suis en train de charger. Visite de 2 nébuleuses, exploration semaine 3. Donc c'est ça, ils sont en explo avec Asgard, donc je vais vous laisser avec lui sur du Elite Dangerous. Bonne soirée à vous. Salut tout le monde.